welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park. Weekend number 3 of the baby races from Campbellville, Ontario. A beautiful way to kick off the weekend. First of 2 sets for the rookie performers here this weekend. The fillies take center stage today with an even dozen to go postward. 14 races for the colts and geldings tomorrow. 18-degree temperatures right now. That's going to climb though as the day goes on, as the sun starts to peek out, expecting to be well up into the mid-20s and just get warmer as the weekend goes on. Things are going to heat up on the track again this morning as we get set for weekend number 3 of the Rookie Showcase. Welcoming you back trackside this morning. Greg Blanchard, great to have Jeff Hunt back with me today. Joined me last Saturday when we had the Colts and Geldings performing. So your first look firsthand at the fillies here this morning, and a real intriguing group. And a lot of horses now as we're into weekend number 3 that are coming back for at least a second and in some cases a third qualifying effort.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, Greg. Thanks for having me back again. And as you said, a beautiful morning to be out here. A little bit warmer than last Friday. I don't have my jacket on this week. And yeah, as you said, some of these returners, a few first-time starters for sure, but we'll be looking to see what our scouting report came up with last week and see if anybody can improve us or impress us even more this week.
Yeah, we'll take a look now at some of the horses coming back this week that we'll keep a close eye on. I believe we've got 52 in total returning, if I'm not mistaken. And let's see, 52 fillies return to action today in those 12 races. Here are the winners that'll be coming back this morning from a week ago. Lavender Sealster as Century Pharaoh's first crop hits the racetrack and are looking good. Sports Writer filly Sporty Evie was an impressive winner as well. LD's Kimberly, the daughter of Sweet Lou. Bulldog Hanover had his first local winner in the filly Dea. And then a couple of cattle wash fillies, PNG, Shadow, and Jay from the Ian Moore barn were ultra impressive a week ago.
Very impressive.
So we'll see them back in action today. And, the big question, or what everybody will be watching to see if they can take another step forward.
Absolutely.
Whether it be in the time department or how they race. I guess what you don't want to see right now, right, is a step backwards.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see a step backwards, that's for sure. Or hopefully if we made a mistake last week, we can clean it up this week. Looking at that board there, it's nice to see that the sires are spread out there. Nobody really dominated that winner's board there, did they?
Yeah, it was a mixed bag. The new faces that you would expect to see, Cattle Wash, we've talked a lot about him the last couple of weeks, really making a splash. Bulldog Hanover, a lot of anticipation to see his first crop hit the racetrack. A couple of big winners for that sire. South of the border at Gateway earlier this week for Team Burke. We had Dax Sealster, the $350,000 yearling purchase last fall. He was a winner in his second outing for Team Burke in 54 and 2, I believe. And the filly, she's a bulldog, won for a second consecutive week in 54 and 3, if I'm not mistaken. So, they're starting to make some noise. But then you've got the old veteran Sports Writer still going strong. Had a winner a week ago, and it's still producing youngsters that hit the track and ready to go. They're so professional.
Yeah, that's good to see. Like I said, it's nice to see the new faces in there. It's exciting, and that's what we want to go to. But it is nice to see the old guys still stepping up to the plate.
We just want to take a moment to thank our many sponsors who help make this production possible. We've got the Hambletonian 100 coming up this year, sponsored by FanDuel. Big anniversary edition of the greatest harness race in North America, the Hambletonian. Hanover Shoe Farms, greatest name in harness racing as well. Big part of the provincial program here as well. Harness Racing Update, providing amazing coverage of our harness racing industry across North America. London Classic Yearling Sale coming up this October 14th and 15th. And there will be several sale graduates in action here this morning, and many siblings to some of those racing this morning that we'll see selling this fall. Preferred Equine Online, one of your top sources for the harness racing marketplace. Of course, Sealster Farms. We'll see a number of Sealster breds competing here today as well. Tara Hill Stud, the aforementioned cattle wash standing there, and Tara Hill's number of horses that'll be selling this fall in London as well. Twin Brook Farms, we'll see some of their offspring going postward here this morning. And I think we've got one more. Yes, Winback Farm, and there they are, right beside each other, right beside the Winback winner's circle here. And there will be a host of Winback breds competing here this morning as well. So again, a big thank you to all of our highly valued sponsors helping make this coverage possible here this morning. A lot of fun covering this action, seeing the newcomers emerge. We've got some new faces going postward, a mix with those and horses that are coming back, as we mentioned. Two new faces in this group as they just make their way to the racetrack now. Aaron Wood, Big Deal, your post 7 starter. This guy purchased for a little over 104,000 Canadian last year at Harrisburg. Post 7 for this guy, Better's Delight, offspring of Zara Bayama, the leader Bayama mare, who already has been a good producer in her career. Aaron Wood Eve has been her top credit so far, winner of almost 300,000, was a top 2-year-old here in Ontario. Aaron Wood Big Rig, another good one. And Ariette Sealster, the other first-timer here, Sunshine Beach filly out of Atlantic Sealster. Atlantic Sealster sibling to many good ones, including $500,000 winner Cat, the $200,000 winner Deb, who just happens to be the dam of the aforementioned Dax Sealster, who qualified at Gateway earlier this week in 54 and 3. And that one will have a brother named Dutton Sealster, a big gym colt selling this fall at the London Classic yearling sale. So lots of pedigree potential there for this one, who is a $30,000 purchase from the London Classic sale and a Sunshine Beach. There's another one of those stallions that over the years has just kind of maybe a little bit under the radar, made a great name for himself. He was a great horse on the racetrack, of course, battled with the one and only Captain Treacherous on the track, and as a stallion's been one of the top producers in Canada for a number of years.
Yeah, let's say something like a poor man's sire, where you can get an affordable price and get a pretty nice racehorse out of it, right?
And when you're looking, he's produced good youngsters, but where I've noticed Sunshine Beach has settled in over the years is his horses get better with age. Like his top end horses, they turn out to be really good, long-lasting, durable horses that can compete at the top level.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never had the fortune of having a Sunshine Beach in my barn, but I've been close enough to them. I tend to find they come out a little more thin, a little more fine bone, so that might explain why they take a little bit more time to develop to get to that point where you can throw them in the box every week. But certainly, if you can get them going, they have speed. They're okay to work with.
Going to look at a few of them here just prior to post time. There's your number 6 starter, Mick Mira. This one did qualify a week ago, finishing 6th, but he kind of went her own mile on that day. Home in 27-1, 2:01-3, her individual time. They'll look probably to step that up substantially today. Team McNair, they're going to be busy today. A number of starters. They've got Captain Sassy here, a daughter of Captain Treacherous. She was a good runner-up a week ago, charted in 2 minutes. So many of these haven't been faster than 2 minutes yet in qualifying action. I think you'll see that change today. And we've got the weather conditions to see a bit of speed here this morning too.
Yeah, absolutely. And each trainer's a little different. It's hard to say how fast everybody had been before they got here last week. And these miles that we saw last time out could have been substantial drops as they were. And just another week, we'll be looking for another drop.
So we've got a field lining up here for qualifier number 1. It was to be a field of 7. Looks like 6 of them moving up. So we'll head up to Mark McKelvey now, the man who will call the action.
Yes. All right, here we go. Qualifier number 1 on this Friday morning. Scratch number 5, Ariette Sealster. So it's going to be a field of 6. Number 1, Century Montana. Louis Waugh driving for Kyle Fellows. Daughter Bulldog Hanover, $80,000 London Classic buy. The 2, I'll Be Bulldog Beth. Tyler Borth for Victor Putty, $32,000 purchase from the Atlantic Classic. daughter of Bulldog Hanover. 3 is McBubbles, Bob McClure for John Pentland, daughter of McWicked, out of Harrisburg for $12,000 US. 4, Captain Sassy, Captain Treacherous filly, Doug McNair for Greg McNair, a homebred for Frank Brundle. 5 is out. 6 is McMira, McWicked filly. This will be Jonathan Drury for trainer Anthony Beaton, daughter of McWicked. And 7, Aaronwood Big Deal, Better's Delight filly, James McDonald for Beaton. This was a $75,000 US buy out of Harrisburg. Here they come for qualifier number 1. And they're off and pacing. And it's going to be the first call going to number 3, McBubbles, who's out to the early advantage. Captain Sassy slips in behind second. Crossing over, McMira is going to drop in third. Then we go to Century Montana, who's in fourth, followed by Aaronwood Big Deal, and 2 lengths back to I'll Be Bulldog Beth. They're heading into the first turn. Bob McClure sent McBubbles out to the top, and it's McBubbles taking them to the opening station. Captain Sassy able to right in behind into the 2-hole. Opening panel was 30-4. So off a 30-4 opening split, they'll have the wind at their backs as they move into the backstretch. So a little bit of a different feel when it comes to what direction the wind's coming from than what we've seen in some of the previous baby races this season. So up the backside, McBubbles by 2. Captain Sassy in second. Third is McMira racing in fourth. That is Century Montana. Aaronwood Big Deal is spotted in fifth. 2.5 lengths back to I'll Be Bulldog Beth, who is sixth. Still a 2-length lead up front here for McBubbles off a 30-4 opener. The half was hit in a minute flat. Onto the far turn after a 29-1 second split. McBubbles still leads it. Front to back, it's about 12 lengths. Up front, McBubbles. Second, Captain Sassy. Third is McMira. Fourth remains Century Montana. Fifth is Aaronwood Big Deal. And it's 4.5 lengths back to I'll Be Bulldog Beth. 5/8 of the mile contested. Still no change in order. Nobody's made a move just yet. And McBubbles is still leading the charge. Second is Captain Sassy. Right behind that one is McMira, who is third. That one had a good kick in its first qualifier. 1:29-4 is the 3/4 time. They're into the stretch, and it's still McBubbles. They're still lined up. Second is Captain Sassy. Third is McMira. In fourth remains Century Montana. Aaronwood Big Deal fifth, and I'll Be Bulldog Beth is in sixth. McBubbles leading it. Right behind is Captain Sassy. Captain Sassy still behind on McClure's helmet as McBubbles is almost home, and it's McBubbles who goes all the way in our first qualifier. Captain Sassy was second. McMira was third. Century Montana. Aaronwood Big Deal. I'll Be Bulldog Beth. 158 flat.
A week ago, a big change in approach today was taken to the back last week, put on the front here today, and delivered a really solid effort in qualifier number 2. There she is, under really little to no urging at the end, a 158 mile, 28-1 kicker on the end to get it done. She was individually timed 2 minutes and 3/5 a week ago and finishing 7th. So today, a winner. And on the front end with a different approach in 158. Solid effort for this daughter of McWicked. Another guy who's produced a number of solid stakes performers here in Ontario since moving into the Stallion Shed. And another promising young daughter on the rise here.
Absolutely. The McWickeds have done really well. You know, that was a fun one coming into. You know, he was maybe a little bit better as an age horse, and you wonder how he do with the young horses, but they've shown up really well. I thought McBubbles looked the best heading onto the track before that qualifier, and right from the word go, she was the best today. I thought Dougie's horse that finished second there. I thought he had maybe a little more horse. He maybe couldn't get the horse out. He wasn't pacing so well, but a good start to the morning. Everybody, stayed on a helmet the entire way. And we're off to a good start.
I'll ask you, getting a good look at the filly coming off the track here, what do you look for in a 2-year-old at this point in terms of size, athleticism, maybe the equipment they're wearing, that type of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do like to see size, when I watch them come out here on the track first. It's tough on 2-year-olds to get into the races so quickly. You do like to make sure that they're kind of developed, muscularly, especially behind. From then, I like to look towards the attitude. I want to make sure that the ear's up and they're settled. Make sure that they're not upset about being here. And from then on, just the more simple the rigging, the better. You know, at this age, you'll see probably a lot of blind bridles and ear hoods, which is probably about where you want to be. Hopefully we don't have too many Murphy blinds or head pulls on at this point, you know. But everybody looks to be doing really well so far.
There they are coming off the track. Race 1 complete this morning. We have 11 remaining. It's day 1 of weekend number 3 of the Rookie Showcase here on PrimeTime TV.
Harness Racing Update covers the sport from all the angles, with news, opinion, features, photography, and the most comprehensive racing, breeding, and sales stories in the game from around the globe. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. Plus, HRU's popular Twos in Training series on YouTube gives you the first look at the stars of tomorrow. And the best news? It's all free. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate. Hanover Shoe Farms, the most successful breeder of Hambletonian champions, producing an impressive total of 11 winners, has dominated the race. Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that! Wow!
Welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park as we switch gears for qualifier number 2. Trotters getting ready to go to the post in this upcoming contest, and it is the second of 12 on this Friday morning, start of a busy weekend. We'll have 14 races for the Colts and Geldings tomorrow morning. But again, Trotters coming up here for qualifier number 2, and we've got a couple of them, and 3 in fact, I guess, that will be facing the gate for the first time, and one of several 6-figure yearlings in action this morning. In fact, the highest priced yearling from last fall, Aura of Athena. She's a Chapter 7 filly, $277,000 when converted to Canadian last fall. Daniel Plouffe owns this one with Clancy Farms, and Blake McIntosh, the trainer, also shares in the ownership. One of Blake's already unveiled a number of youngsters. This is going to be one of a few that left that we haven't seen to this point in time. A Chapter 7 filly here. Again, blue chip prospect perhaps in here. The HP farm has a couple of 6-figure yearlings that we're going to see today. HP Fashionista, HP Imagine, both sold for 6 figures plus at the London Classic last fall. Twin Bee Fierce, Aaron Wood, a big deal, who we just saw back in the opener, and then Sister Scarlet and Southwind Manhattan, the others that are those what they call blue chip prospects, I suppose. 7 of them, $100,000 plus, that we're going to see in action all day today. So, yeah, when one goes through the ring for that kind of money, a lot of eyes are on that one to see what we're working with right off the bat here. And this one has certainly lots of pedigree potential to work with. Post number 3. There's a look at the entire group in here. And let's see who else we're going to have a look at in this spot. Mary Jane, next door neighbor to that one. A Muscle Mass in the field, a London Classic purchase, one of 2 in the field. DA Miracle was also purchased out of that sale, owned by Eli Wagler. And Eli's hoping for more good luck. My Retirement Dream has been a great trotter for him in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. You asked me earlier on if I had any connections or anything on here, but just a small connection on Eli's horse here, the Miracle Maker, out of the mare DeMiracle. But my father trained DeMiracle for Glengate Farms there, so a little connection there. I believe we had one of her foals as well.
Well, there you go. Those are the connections that you get over the course of a long period of time, and anything that comes from Glengate Farms, of course, they've got solid pedigree behind them, and this guy might turn out to be a relatively bargain basement purchase. $24,000 was the price on that one. Acrobatic scheduled to go here from post 8. Green Manalishi filly from the Cadabra mare Circus Girl. This is a homebred and a first full from that one, who's a sister to an almost $800,000 winner called Spanzano, who was a good one. So an intriguing group. First look at trotters this morning, back up to Mark McKelvey, who's got the call.
Inside out, one is Walner's Grove, Doug McNair. For trainer Greg McNair, this is a daughter of Walner. 2 is Figuratively, Tyler Jones for Dustin Jones, daughter of Green Manalishi. 3 is Aura of Athena. This is a daughter of Chapter 7, Jody Jameson for Blake McIntosh. This was a $200,000 purchase from Harrisburg. Next up, the 4, Mary J. Muscle Mass filly, Scott Young for Bob Young, $57,000 buy from the London Classic. Number 5 is Social Wizard. This is a daughter of Alarm Detector, Tyler Borth for trainer Ben Bayarjan. 6 is Tactical Rose, daughter of Tactical Landing, Louis Waugh for Kyle Fellows. This one out of the Harrisburg sale for $20,000 US. Then we're going to go to number 7, DA Miracle Maker, daughter of Alarm Detector, Travis Cullen for trainer Eli Wagler, $24,000 buy from the London Classic. Number 8, Acrobatic, daughter of Green Manalishi, Matt Bax, trains and drives. It's a field of 8, no changes here for this second qualifier, 2-year-old trotting fillies. Starting gate swings into the stretch, and here they come. And they're off and trotting. Away well from the inside is Walner's Grove. Everybody else looking for a spot here in the early going. Outside starter Acrobatic might be able to forge ahead of the other 6 rivals to get away second. At the inside is Aura of Athena. Mary J will tuck in behind. Then we go to Tactical Rose, followed by Social Wizard. Second from the back is Figuratively. And the last one in line is DA Miracle Maker. Opening quarter is coming up here for Walner's Grove, who steps out in front. 30-4 the opening split. Walner's Grove leads them out of the first turn. In second is Aura of Athena. That outside starter Acrobatic was able to settle in third. Racing fourth up the backstretch is Mary J. It's 2 lengths then to Tactical Rose, 2.5 lengths back to Social Wizard. 7th is Figuratively, and 8th is DA Miracle Maker. So they're a little gapped out here, front to back. And untouched on the lead, a loose leader here. Continuing to march along is Walner's Grove by 4, almost 5 at the midway point in 101 even. Second quarter was trotted in 30-1. And they're on to the far, 29-4, I should say, and they're on to the far turn. Walner's Grove leading it. It's Walner's Grove and McNair. Second is Aura of Athena. Acrobatic is still there in third. Fourth is Mary J. Fifth is where you're going to find Tactical Rose, Social Wizard 6. 7th is Figuratively, and the last one will be DA Miracle Maker. So Walner's Grove in the second outing, doing the road work today, is by 3/4 in 130-4, and they come to the top of the stretch. And in the lane, it is still Walner's Grove who leads it. Walner's Grove in second is Aura of Athena, and here comes Aura of Athena now trying to take a shot. Third is Acrobatic, and then in fourth is Mary J. Into deep stretch, and Walner's Grove, under no urging here late, has this one. It's Walner's Grove. Second is Aura of Athena. On the outside was Mary J., who got up into third. From Acrobatic, fourth. 159-4 for Walner's Grove.
Walner's Grove out for qualifier number 2. Pretty workmanlike effort, I thought, from this one. And all the way on the front end, this daughter of Walner cruising in 59-4 with 58-4 back half speed and a 29-second last quarter here. An unstressed final quarter, I would say. Good look at that one on the slow-mo here. And handled really nicely from post 1, Jeff, which would, people that watch Mohawk a lot would realize, especially for a trotter and a young, inexperienced trotter, isn't always the ideal spot to start from.
No, definitely not. That was an outstanding effort. I thought she looked fantastic the whole way, and as you said, we get a a complete 1 second drop from our last effort. And yeah, it's tough to get a trotter going from there, especially when they're young. But at least we weren't racing anybody out of there. We weren't, Dougie probably wasn't stressing her to get out of there. She was, probably willing and capable of getting out of there in 31 from the rail. But we kept it all the way around. Last quarter in 29 looks pretty good.
Yeah, two of the top stallions in the sport represented here with the 1-2 finishers. Wallner, of course, who was going to be the Hambletonian, the overwhelming Hambletonian favorite in his year before injury. Cut his career short, but he has been an exciting stallion, to say the least. And, of course, Chapter 7 as well. So the former Linda Toscano trainees are making their mark in the stallion. She had Chapter 7, of course, top overall trotting stallion in the sport the last season. Or of Athena, a good runner-up effort from that one. You get the sense that there's a little bit of work to do with that one just on the gating side, but I think when she gets it fully together, you're going to see something exciting for her.
Yeah, absolutely. If I told you that I thought she was trotting perfectly smooth, I'd be lying. So hopefully there's a little more excitement to get out of her for the rest of the summer. And it's kind of hard to say how this trotting division is going to go. We had a couple standouts there, and I didn't think any of the horses that finished runner-up were trotting poorly or anything. We just didn't have enough speed to catch anybody there. I thought everybody looked good, but maybe a couple standouts right now.
That's what's nice about these races. They can let the horse do what's comfortable for them at this stage, and they'll progress a lot in the coming weeks. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Walner's Grove goes from here. Now 2 qualifiers in for trainer Greg McNair, son Doug, who does the driving on this one. And to see where this one maybe emerges next time out. Expecting some of the others will probably come back at least another time or two before they hit the racetrack in pari-mutuel action. So we'll take another quick break. When we come back, more Pacers on this Friday morning from Woodbine Mohawk Park.
Winback Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including three-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025. The last great son of the legendary Sub Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beachglass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winback Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com or call 914-773-7777.
Here we go with Pacers getting set to hit the track for qualifier number 3. A look there at Chicanery.
Good name.
And this one, a daughter of Cattle Wash, owned by Bill Donovan of Florida. Of course, owned Cattle Wash, and he was here last fall for the yearling sale. Purchased, I think, a couple from that sire last season. Speaking of Cattle Wash, early on this season, he one of the top stallions as we get a look at some of the trainers that we're going to see prominent here this morning. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later in terms of stallion numbers this season. But in terms of trainers this morning that are going to be busy, we've already seen the Greg McNair barn with a winner earlier today. And Anthony Beaton will send out a dozen starters overall as part of the morning session too. Interesting too, Jeff, we've seen certain barns unveil, if not all, most of the 2-year-olds that are going to be hitting the racetrack this season, while others we have yet to see surface, and we'll watch closely in the next week or two some of those stables when they come with their brigades.
Yeah, it's it's an exciting time of year to be out here watching these, but we can't get all the excitement. There are still, arguably the best ones are still yet to come, right? So we'll enjoy what we got out here for the day and hope for more to come.
There's another cattle wash filly called Riding the Rodeo, one of 6 starters here who did face the gate 1 week ago. It is a field of 7 again. 6 of them did compete last weekend, and this daughter of cattle wash finishing 6th. Charted individually in 2 minutes and 4, but had the fastest final quarter of any of the fillies in this field, 27 seconds on that occasion. Second time out for this one, who was a yearling purchase last fall, converted to Canadian dollars, a $32,000 purchase. One of the 6-figure babies in the field here is Twin Bee Fierce, a Captain Treacherous filly, sold for $125,000 last fall. And another for Team McNair as they look to go back to back. And she made a little bobble at the start a week ago, but a pretty nice recovery after that.
Yeah, I noted this line here. Again, I didn't maybe get to watch the fillies last week as much as you, but you know, after you make a bobble, you only get beat 4 1/4, and you're home in 27 and change. Like you said, hopefully we can clean that line up when we come back the second week, and I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'd be expecting better this week.
Here's a homebred, and this is the lone first-timer in the field, Kosi Bay Kiwi, a big Jim filly from Cliff Street. The second foal for her. She was a good one on the racetrack, and her first foal to race is Sugar Pie Honey, and that name might ring a bell for people that have been watching here locally. This 3-year-old filly just getting better as time goes on. Comes off of back-to-back wins at the grassroots level, including a 151-3 lifetime best clocking in her latest. So this is the sibling to that one. Sugar Pie Honey's by Bettor's Delight. This one sired by Big Jim. And George Millar likes Big Jims.
Yep,
and
George.
And it's easy to see why.
Yeah, and George knows what he's doing up there. I'm going to change the subject, go back a little bit. You asked me about connections. I see my man, Mr. Gallucci up here, and I was an employee of Mr. Gallucci's for a few months a couple years ago, while this mare Kloof Street was in the barn. So shout out to Caroline as well, who took care of her. Kloof Street was not the easiest mare to get along with, and I'm sure that they're all excited for this one to come on the track here.
Well, very good. We'll watch this one closely. You can tell us if there are any similarities, perhaps, afterwards. But right now, it's back up to Mark McKelvey with race number 3.
All right. Thank you very much, Greg. A field of 8 lining up. 1 is Chargin' Patricia, Sports Writer filly. Bob McClure for Gabby Sasso. 2 is Chicanery, Cattle Wash filly. Louis Waugh for Dan Legacy. 3 is going to be Twin Bee Fierce, daughter of Captain Treacherous. Doug McNair for Greg McNair, $125,000 coming out of Harrisburg. 4 Lions on the Beach, Bettor's Delight filly. Tony Beaton trains, Jonathan Drury drives. This one comes out of Harrisburg for $20,000 US. 5 Horse with a Plan, a Bettor's Delight filly. Travis Cullen for Jody Cullen. This Bettor's Delight daughter out of the Lexington Select Sale for $30,000 US. 6 is Kosi Bay Kiwi, Big Jim filly. James McDonald for Nick Gallucci. 7 is Riding the Rodeo, Cattle Wash filly. It'll be Jody Jameson for trainer Dominic Ledoux. Lexington Select Buy for $24,000 US. And Molly's on Fire is the 8, Sunfire Blue Chip daughter. Out of the London Classic for $18,000. Travis Henry for Jason Libby. Here they come for the 3rd. And they're off and pacing. Riding the Rodeo, able to kick out strong. Also down the center of the track goes Horse with a Plan, and away from the rail is Chargin' Patricia. Getting away 4th will be Lions on the Beach, settling 5th Chicanery, going back to Twin Bee Fierce ahead of Kosi Bay Kiwi, and the last one is Molly's on Fire. They set up shop as they drive into the first turn, and Jameson sent out Riding the Rodeo to the opening panel. 2nd is Horse with a Plan, opening quarter up on the board in 29-3. So it's Riding the Rodeo, a leader by a little more than a length and a half, while Horse with a Plan is in 2nd. Chargin' Patricia just sits in behind their 3rd. 4th is Lions on the Beach. Mid-pack Chicanery is 5th in the 2nd outing. Then it's going to Twin Bee Fierce, who is followed by Kosi Bay Kiwi. And at the back is Molly's on Fire. Nobody moving through the 2nd quarter here as they follow in single file up to the midway point for Riding the Rodeo. A daughter of Cattle Wash sat back in the first qualifier today, put on the point. 59-2 was the half-mile time. 2nd quarter in 29-4, and it continues to be Riding the Rodeo. Getting a nice trip is Horse with a Plan, who's tracking nicely there. Then it's a few lengths to Charge and Patricia in third. Lions on the Beach is fourth. Chicanery is fifth. 2.5 lengths then back to Twin Bee Fierce sixth. Seventh is Kosi Bay Kiwi. And the last one continues to be Molly's on Fire. To 3/4, Riding the Rodeo, doing it this week. Riding the Rodeo by 3/4. Plugs get pulled, 128 and 3. That was 29 and 1 in the third split. And they're into the stretch. Riding the Rodeo, the daughter of Cattle Wash, trying to go all the way. Second is Horse with a Plan. Then we're back to Charge and Patricia, who is third, trying to angle out as Lions on the Beach. On the outside is Chicanery, but up front, Riding the Rodeo still holds the lead. Horse with a Plan is in behind. Riding the Rodeo. Horse with a Plan up on the helmet, and it's going to be Riding the Rodeo. Horse with a Plan stays right there second, closing up with Chicanery third. Between horses fourth, that was Lions on the Beach, 156 and 4 for Riding the Rodeo.
Big step forward today for Riding the Rodeo. 4 seconds in the time department. Last week finishing 6th. Individually timed 2 minutes and 4/5. 56 and 4 winner today right on the front end. Change in tactics today. Big strapping daughter of Cattle Wash, the mare. Take a little ride with me, a Jeremy's Jet mare. Hasn't produced any world champions, but has produced a lot of winners, a lot of good racehorses. So Riding the Rodeo, a really nice progression here from week to week in her second qualifier. Dominic Gladue trains this one for the stable. Jody Jameson picking up the driving assignment. Horse with the Plan, solid runner-up there. Interesting approach too, right? Really no intent to try and come to the outside. Wanted to stay on the helmet, finish up strong. And this one a full sibling to a good one called Lions Better Day, a career winner of $500,000, a sub 150 mark. Lots of potential here for the top 2 finishers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like Horse with a Plan had a driver with a plan as well, didn't he?
I would say. And, and looking a little bit further back in the field, there are others that finished up on helmets, finished up, under tight lines. I think there could be another 2 or 3 emerge from this group that if they're back in action next week could really make some noise.
And I thought that, while those horses were on the backside, but, it was almost a kudos, to the trainers and the drivers and everyone. But, these horses look fantastic. Like we said, when they come on the track, the ones that stand out are the ones that look improper really anymore, right? And, I haven't seen a horse who looks out of place here. I haven't seen a horse who's acting up or is shying from things or is out in the middle of the track or we've had some who maybe can't keep up to the speed, but nobody who seems out of place. Everybody's been looking fantastic so far.
And look at her coming back, the winner Riding the Rodeo. Just looks like an old pro, as many of them do. And we've been marveling at that over the last couple of weeks. The breed has evolved, there's no question. For the most part, these horses, when they get to this stage, they quickly learn what it's all about. Quick thought on that one, the daughter of Cliff Street. First of all, any physical similarities that you were able to notice?
Yeah, absolutely. If I think back to Cliff Street, maybe a high-strung sort of thin, panicky mare, and maybe I saw a little bit there with Kosi or Kiwi, whatever they might call her, but maybe a little green off the gate. I saw some head shaking or something. Certainly maybe needs a little bit more development. She'll be out here a couple more times. But, yeah, I certainly saw a little Kloof Street in her.
And that was one of the fillies that I thought finished up very lively. Mm-hmm. And it's got a nice big gait to her. So I would expect we'll see a significant progression in her next time behind the starting gate. Whether that'll be in pari-mutuel action or another qualifier, we will see. Let's take another quick break. We'll be back with trotters again. Race number 4 coming up next.
The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns this October to the Western Fair District Agriplex. The nation's leading consigners choose the London Classic, offering hundreds of yearlings by many of the sport's leading sires, all under one roof at one of North America's best venues. Recent sale graduates include Canada's Rookie Pacing Colt of the Year, Stonebridge Wizard, O'Brien Award finalist Paquette, and O'Brien Award winning double millionaire Logan Park. The London Classic Yearling Sale, where your dollar goes further and where champions are found. Find out more at londonclassic.ca.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest price horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com or call 914-773-7777.
Postword to here this morning. So far, so good, Jeff. We were excited last week. You got to watch the Colts in action. There were some head-turning performances a week ago, including Quick Away. We should give a quick shout-out to that one. He was the fastest winner a week ago. He's the fastest 2-year-old in Canada this year. And got his career off, his pari-mutuel career off on a winning note last night at Yonkers in New York Sire Stakes action.
Correct, and if I'm not wrong, he qualified here in 53-2, if I'm correct, that mile,
correct.
And then went down to Yonkers and showed them the business.
55-1. Yannick Gingras was on board for trainer Blake McIntosh and the ownership connections. Just heard from Blake this morning. Poor Ozzie McKay, the co-owner, flew in and was in the car 3 or 4 hours, stuck in traffic in New York trying to get there, and wouldn't you know it, he missed the race.
Right. It's an expensive trip for a picture in the end.
That's right. But he got the win, so that at least is going to put a smile on his face. So yeah, real nice start to the campaign for that. Son of American Ideal really turned heads here a week ago. We're going to get a look at trotters going to the post here next, and an intriguing group as well. There's Evangelista, Green Manalishi filly, and this one just a $31,000 yearling purchase in London last fall. And I think amazing here, Jeff, because this is the first foal from No Angel here. She was a good one on the racetrack, made $80,000, but she is a sibling to 2 millionaires, Righteous Resolve and Duly Resolved. You talk about a lot of potential in the family here. I think Evangelista has it in spades.
Yeah. As you said, you're a little bit closer to the sales than I am. I don't remember this one going through. And it's hard to say why one would get through at that price with such a good family, but hopefully you can come out here and show us that breeding does play a part in getting yourself to the races.
So we'll keep a close eye on that one here this morning. There is a nice look at her. And Meg Crone does the training. Louis-Philippe Bois in the driver's seat here. And this one was purchased by Bill Donovan of Delray Beach, Florida. So we've see a number of his new youngsters in action here this morning. Another London graduate from last year, Stonebridge Chips, daughter of looks like a Chippendale, one of a couple in the field from that stallion. He doesn't produce as many in terms of volume of trotters, but I really like what he's done, and he's made his impact with less starters to work with.
Absolutely. Would you say he's kind of that Sunshine Beach sort of trotting sire for you? He sneaks in there. He may a little bit more success than
at this
Sunshine
point,
Beach.
Just based on volume, you're right. But he's sort of proven that he can click like a lot of Ontario stallions. I guess it just speaks to the overall depth of the stallion ranks in the province, and now you're throwing in new faces. Beach Glass is going to be on the scene. Tattoo artist now, Cattle Wash Bulldog, relatively new additions. Green Manalishi, we've seen what he's done. King of the North on the trotting side, and on and on. So, I would say a breeding program that can stack up pretty much with anyone, anywhere in the world at this stage. Bodes well for the future of the OSS program, for sure. Let's go back up to Mark McKelvey. Mark, how are things from your vantage point this morning?
Pretty good, Greg. As you really look at it here today, the wind, as I mentioned, kind of switched directions a bit. So compared to what we'd seen in some of these other weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays as the day goes on. we'd seen some more good final quarter speed
Not much. Just talking.
the first couple of weeks with a little wind assistance.
No, just for the baby races.
Fourth qualifier as they are lined up. One is Stonebridge Chips. Doug McNair for Greg McNair. Looks like a Chippendale filly. 30,000 out of the London Classic. 2 looks to be Magic. It looks like a Chippendale filly as well. Brent Ballore trains. Louis Waugh was listed to drive. It'll be Jody Jameson. 18,000 from the London Classic. 3, Southwind Manhattan, a Muscle Hill filly. Matt Bax trains and drives. Lexian Select Buy for 75,000 US. 4 is Timel Electra, Green Manalishi filly. Mark Etzel trains and drives. This one comes from Harrisburg for 45,000 US. 5, Evangelista, Green Manalishi filly. Meg Crone trains. Louis Waugh drives. 31,000 from the London Classic. 6 is Press On Ballykeel, a Wheelin' and Dealin' filly. Tyler Borth for Josh McKibben. 7 is Kennedy Hanover, Green Manalishi filly. James McDonald for Blake McIntosh. This one comes out of Harrisburg for 53,000 US. And 8 is Spanish Bay, Green Manalishi, Bob McClure for trainer Joe McIsaac. Here they come. And they're off and trotting, and a break at the inside for number 1, Stonebridge Chips. The others are coming on out of there with outside starter Kennedy Hanover, looking to press on up to the top. Press On Ballykeel is getting away in second. On the outside is Spanish Bay. That one's going to be forwardly placed from Southwind Manhattan in 4th, followed by Looks to Be Magic. Lined up Timel Electra, getting in behind Evangelista. And the last one is Stonebridge Chips. Up to the opening quarter. And it will be Kennedy Hanover there in a time of 32 and 3. So again, they're trotting into the wind as they were coming down the lane. Now we move into the backstretch with the wind at their backs. That wasn't a whole lot of urgency from many of them in that opening quarter. Kennedy Hanover, a daughter of Green Manalishi, fronts them here by 3. Second is Spanish Bay. Press On Ballykeel is 3rd. 5 lengths then back to Southwind Manhattan in 4th. Tracking that one closely is Looks to Be Magic. Then we go to Timel Electra, who is going to be followed by Evangelista, and the last one was Southwind Chips, 102 and 3. So that was 30 seconds in the second quarter after a 32 and 3 opener. And the leader here, Kennedy Hanover, is on top by 5. Spanish Bay is in second. 3rd remains Press On Ballykeel. 4th is Southwind Manhattan. 2 lengths then to Looks to Be Magic in 5th. And then we'll go back to Timel Electra. Evangelista, Southwind Chips is the trailer. Coming up the 3 quarters now. Kennedy Hanover by 5. And Kennedy Hanover is there in a time of 1:32 and 3. So a minute even through the middle half. And Kennedy Hanover is into the stretch. This daughter of Green Manalishi on her best behavior this morning. And now we'll have to contend with Southwind Manhattan, who gets unleashed in the final quarter. Spanish Bay went off stride. Into 3rd is Press On Ballykeel. Kennedy Hanover, the lead is shrinking. Southwind Manhattan in pursuit, coming on by. Southwind Manhattan with a good-looking debut. This daughter of Muscle Hill wins it by a little more than a length. Kennedy Hanover was 2nd. Press On Ballykeel was 3rd. 4th was Looks to Be Magic. Final time, 2:03 flat.
A 2:03 measured victory here for Southwind Manhattan. This one a Muscle Hill filly from the Cantab Hall mare. Mother May I, Matt Bax trains, and he was in the driver's seat today for the back stable, along with Alan Saul, Neil Miller. And yeah, that's your ownership group of this one. Southwind Manhattan, one of those 6-figure babies we talked about earlier in the show. Getting it done here, 2:03, a minute and 2 on the end. And, head down, nice kind of way of going for this daughter of Muscle Hill. And we'll see if she can continue to go forward from here. 2:03, not as flashy in the time department. A couple of breakers in there as well, and we were thinking as we watched it, that's something we haven't seen much of the last couple of weeks. It's almost strange to see one breaking at the start right now. So I guess that speaks to how professional, for the most part, these youngsters have been.
Yeah, I was thinking that as that race was getting started there, maybe we jinxed it or something, but that one was a little sloppier than the ones we've seen before. And again, the time of the mile doesn't really impress me too much. But again, there was some confusion off the gate there. Some of them didn't want to go forwards, and we just maybe set the first quarter up a little too slow to really go much of a better mile. I thought it's hard to say what James and Blake's horse was really going to be like this week with just the distance across the line. I thought she looked well. Obviously, maybe like getting picked off so much for the last quarter and 30 seconds. But on the same token, I thought that Southwind Manhattan here looked super down the lane. Like, you're not really upset getting beat by a horse who looks that good coming across the wire.
So we are 4 races down. We have 8 left to go here this morning. We'll take another quick break and be back with more of the Rookie Showcase next.
O'Brien Award Breeder of the Year, Tara Hills, is home to harness racing's most exciting young stallions. Green Manalishi's first crop has taken Ontario and the Grand Circuit by storm. It includes Peaceful Way winner Mona Lishi. World champion Cattle Wash has seen multiple New Jersey Sire Stake winners from his first crop, including final winning filly Reckless Abandon. His 2024 yearlings are eligible to the Ontario Sire Stakes. Don't miss your chance to buy one of their sons or daughters this fall. For more, visit TaraHills.com.
I'm awfully glad I won.
The Hamiltonian, it's one of the most prestigious races. It's quite a thrill. It's one of the biggest thrills of my life.
We delivered. The horse delivered. It was amazing. I can't believe it.
I am stunned. I'm absolutely stunned.
This is obviously the pinnacle.
It's just something that I can't explain.
This is just an absolute dream come true.
It feels good now, but I'm sure it's going to feel even better tomorrow.
For me to do it, this is my moment.
I might have got a little excited.
Yes, America's Trotting Classic, first Saturday in May, and a special one this year, the 100th anniversary of that. We always wonder at this time of year, are we looking at any potential Hambletonian horses? But as we've seen over the years, Highland Kismet comes to mind. I mean, he wasn't even on the radar until almost into the 3-year-old season and made that meteoric rise and came close to winning. And the Great Carl, of course, getting it done on that occasion. As look at the sires, an early look at the leading sires this season in North America in terms of overall win for 2-year-olds, and there is Cattle Wash. So not surprising. We knew, he was really doing some good things here, turning some heads the first couple of weeks, and he's tied with 2 others, Rockin' Image, Long Tom on the trotting side, both stand south of the border. I believe Long Tom's Ohio, and Rockin' Image, Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, or perhaps Ohio. I'd have to double check. I should know that. But, so there's Cattle Wash, good impact so far. And then the fastest horses, we talked about Quick Away. He's the fastest in North America for 2-year-olds at this stage and was a winner last night on the half-mile oval at Yonkers.
Yeah, impressive, and it's awesome that still shows his qualifying time up here a little faster than his race time, right? Which we were a part of. We got to see. Did you get to see the race last night at all? Or
I haven't. I'm going to watch the replay. Yeah, I just saw that he had won very handily. I saw the win photo. He was on top by 5 or 6. Yannick Gingras driving. So, mission accomplished for him in his first go-round. On the trotting side, Big Ranger, a son of In Range, and Diabolical Hill, a Muscle Hill offspring. Saw Muscle Hill click here in qualifier number 4, and he's got the co-fastest 2-year-old trotter in North America at this point. But those times are not going to stand long, Jeff, as we know.
No, they won't. As we head out to this next qualifier, we get our first.
Going to look at them coming out here. Jeff's going to check them out coming out to the racetrack as we switch to the. We're back on the trot here, actually, for this one. And let's see.
No, definitely a pace.
I was one. I switched my program one race too late. So here we are. Yeah, we're back on the pace. We've got 7 of them to go postward in this one. Let's look at some return winners here. We had a graphic earlier today showing that we've got, I think, 6 or 7 coming back who competed last week and won, and 2 of them go head-to-head here. Lavender Sealster, post 1, and Sporty Evie from post 3. Lavender Sealster, daughter of Century Pharaoh, the second foal from La Capella, and she is a daughter of Capello Rose, who's produced 6 $200,000 winners, including Rockapella, winner of $950,000. This filly I thought looked good last week, getting it done with 27 3 final quarter speed, and was able to hold on the front end. Louis Philippe Bois back on board, and Sporty Evie, daughter of sports writer, couldn't have looked, I think, any more solid than she did last week, winning handily in 59 3, and I thought had something left in the tank, and we'll see probably a bit of a drop in time from one or both of those here this morning, I would expect.
Yeah, hopefully. You've got a couple other on the outside who can close up well here. Showed a couple good miles. I think I was going to say, as they were walking out here, we get our first look at a Dr. Ian Moore trainee this morning. If I had my bet, it's going to look like Louis cutting this one out, and we'll see if Sporty Evie's got any more in the tank this week, and if she can stay closer.
A couple that you talked about that showed good closing speed last week, racing from off the pace. Naughty Delight, number 5. She was third a week ago, 27 4 home in a 58 3 individual time. 5-star rating. The Control the Moment filly will leave from post 6 today. She was 5th, home in 27 3, charted in 2 minutes. And we've already seen this morning some of those horses that raced off the pace last week changed up the tactics and were handled more aggressively today. 2 first-timers in here as well. Number 2, Cackleberry, Cattle Wash filly for the Dustin Jones stable. Tyler will be in the driver's seat. Going to catch up with Tyler after our midway point intermission here this morning. He's got 4 that he's driving this morning for his dad, Dustin. Westland Hanover's the other first-timer, Better's Delight filly out of Wiggle at Hanover. The second living foal for her, and the first was Wingding Hanover, and that was a good one, $140,000 made and a race record of 150 3. So Westland Hanover debuting here for trainer Meg Crone. So I guess we'll put this back to you. Put the trainer's hat on. If you have a baby here that's won last week, coming back today, what are you hoping to see from them?
Well, again, I know Ian a little bit. We know how Ian likes to go. I'm gonna assume that maybe we want maybe something around 55 here, probably for Lavender from the rail. And again, these other guys, Sporty Evie, Naughty Delight, 5-star rating. We'll see if they can close up and stay close enough. And some of the new ones coming out from good barns, we'll just see what they can offer today.
Field of 7, Mark, looks like no scratches here. A good-looking tilt for qualifier number 5.
Yep, we're good to go here. No scratches, as you mentioned. Just one driver change as Billy Davis sits behind the 7 Westland Hanover. Inside out, number 1 is going to be Lavender Sealster. Doc Moore trains, Louis Waugh drives, Century Pharaoh filly. Comes out of the London Classic for $30,000. 2 is Cackleberry, Cattle Wash filly, Tyler Jones for Dustin Jones. 3, Sporty Evie, Sports Writer filly, Doug McNair for Greg McNair. 4, Jalapeno Cheddar, Better Than Cheddar filly. Anthony Beaton trains, Jonathan Drury drives. 5 is Naughty Delight, Better's Delight filly, also trained by Beaton. This one driven by James McDonald. Comes out of the Lexington Select sale for $40,000 US. 6 is 5-star rating, Control the Moment filly. Paul Davies trains and drives, $29,000 London Classic purchase. And number 7 is Westland Hanover. It'll be Billy Davis driving for Meg Crone, a Better's Delight filly, purchased from Harrisburg for $30,000 US. It's a field of 7 in the hands of the starter. Qualifier number 5. And they're off and pacing. Inside starter Lavender Sealster is scooting forward. 5-star rating is crossing on over. Probably going to be able to drop right in to a wide open 2-hole there as Sporty Evie lets that one settle in there. She's racing in 3rd. Naughty Delight lined up in 4th. Jalapeno Cheddar is 5th. Cackleberry 6th. And 7th is Westland Hanover. That's how they got set up. And it's the number 1, Lavender Sealster, who sits first at an opening quarter of 29 seconds flat. Lavender Sealster, this is a daughter of Century Pharaoh. 2nd qualifier for her, and she was a winner in her debut a week ago. She went 157-1. And here she is leading the charge. She made a 2nd quarter brush to the lead. Today, trying to go all the way. Second is 5-star Rating. Third is Sporty Evie. Fourth is Naughty Delight. Fifth is Jalapeno Cheddar. Then we're back to Cackleberry, and the last one is Westland Hanover. 57-4 was the half. Second quarter was a little bit quicker than that opening split. It was 29 and then 28-4, and it's Lavender Sealster for Waugh. She leads it by 2. 5-star Rating is almost right there with the leader, as that one is second, just a little off the lead. Third is Sporty Evie. Naughty Delight's right behind that one. Jalapeno Cheddar is fifth. And then back to the final pair in Cackleberry and Westland Hanover. Lavender Sealster at 3 quarters in 126-2. And at the top of the stretch, we'll see if Lavender Sealster can make it back-to-back qualifying scores. 5-star Rating in second. Trying to press was called upon. Then we're going back to Sporty Evie. Off stride went Naughty Delight. Gone wide there around that one, Jalapeno Cheddar, just prior to the break. But up front, Lavender Sealster holding the lead. It's about 3.5 coming to the wire. Lavender Sealster wins again. Good effort from 5-star Rating. That one finishes in second. Then third through the line was Sporty Evie, and fourth was Jalapeno Cheddar. 154-3 for Lavender Sealster.
Well, Jeff, you were close. You missed it by a couple of fifths of a second. You said they'd probably be looking for something around 55 today with this filly. 54-3.
I'll take that. As a win. And there we go.
And what about this body language?
Yeah, again, superb looking filly. Like I said, you were asking about connections, and I should have a little more connections with the Ian Moore barn, being at the same farm and having caretaker Riley Groom, shout out Riley, living with me. But he takes care of this horse, and so, I got to ask him there. He said, trained down like a monster. Actually, got pneumonia pretty bad in the winter and had some health concerns, maybe some issues with making some breaks early, but seems like they've ironed that out, and she is ready to go.
A lot of production in the family. We talked about that beforehand. And Century Pharaoh, a lot of familiarity here for trainer Ian Moore, of course, campaigned this guy. He was a good one. Made $1.5 million, and when at his peak, he raced against the very best in North America, a Breeders' Crown winner, and now standing at Sealster Farms, and didn't get as many mares as some of the other, I guess, more high-profile stallions, if you want to call them that. But I'll tell you what, from a small sample size, I really like what I have seen so far.
And you would know they were looking very good at the sale this fall. They're looking fantastic. I think this is his only winner, but now a 2-time winner. It's good to see them. And again, I guess these connections, they come up more and more as we talk about them. But at the same time, I was working for Gallucci. Dr. E. Moore was on the other side, and that was at the time he had Century Pharaoh. Dustin Boyd was taking care of him. They used to call him Dave. He was actually a very nice stallion to be around. It's nice to see him do well.
For sure. So, he's. They have a look to them. They what strikes me is they're good-looking individuals from a physical standpoint. There's a nice look at the runner-up in there, 5-star Rating. But yeah, the Century Pharaohs, good-looking individuals, and their demeanor I'm also impressed with. And of course, they've got talent. We're seeing that on the racetrack too. 5-star Rating, Daughter of Control the Moment. Another one of those sort of maybe unheralded stallions that has produced many really nice horses here in Ontario. Sporty Evie, I think Connections would be very happy with that, finishing third, but lowered her time substantially.
Absolutely, and like we said, it looked like Lavender Sealster was probably going to be the best in here, and we just wanted the best effort out of everybody else. We did get a little confusion in the stretch there. Not everybody wanted to do it perfect today, but 3 of them did very well anyhow.
So there's the winner again, Lavender Sealster. Quickest of the day so far, 154-3. We'll take another break. We'll be back with qualifier 6, Trotters, when we return.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Hold on! Another world championship!
They dominate. Hanover Shoe Farms, the most successful breeder of Hambletonian champions, producing an impressive total of 11 winners, has dominated the race. Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that! Wow!
Winback Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including three-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025. The last great son of the legendary Sub Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beach Glass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winbank Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP in Trixton. For more information, visit winbankfarm.com.
We're on the trot, qualifier number 6 at the midway point of a busy Friday morning session, 12 races in total. Thank you for joining us this morning on Prime Time Racing. It's the Rookie Showcase weekend number 3. Number of six-figure babies going postward this morning. 2 graduates from the London sale, both bred by Claude Hamel of Quebec. HP Fashionista is one of them, and we're going to see that one in action here. She has post number 5. Tyler Borth teaming up with Ben Bayerjan, $135,000 purchase. Muscle Mass filly, she's the 3rd foal from the Broadway Hall mare Fashion Goddess. And this one a sibling to HP Extra Ice, who's been a good one, a career winner of more than $200,000 to this point, a 53-2 record. Good look at HP Fashionista there. Nice big filly as well. She looks like she's got the game face on.
Absolutely, she looks like a Ben Bayerjan trotter out there, doesn't she?
Yeah, there's another guy that I'm sure you've watched over the years, and year in, year out has a great field, great stable, especially some of the top trotters we see on the circuit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
he's standing right here in front of us.
Right in front of us, he is. Yeah, and there's Tyler going to join the show, and Dustin.
What's the word? Do you like this filly? The game's perfect. Come on in for a second.
Put it on the mic.
Let's get him in on the fly. What are your thoughts on this filly?
Well, she has a perfect gait, but she's a little lazy on the side. She's come a long way in 1 month. So we'll see. This is the second time we get her behind the gate.
So in watching her there, we were saying, she kind of looks like she's ready to go. You're saying she's a bit lazy, is that?
Yeah, she's a bit lazy, but second time today behind the gate, so hopefully she'll pick it up. Looks like she'll pick it up.
And what are you hoping for today? What do you want to see from her today? Is there a time target? Do you just want to see her do it the right way? What are you looking for?
If she goes 2-3, 2-4, I'll be happy. So as long as she follows and she's okay.
And this one bred by Claude Hamel. I assume you would know Claude well over the years, right? So, he produces so many good horses. So it must be fun to have a couple of these in the barn.
Yeah, it's always fun to train for him. He don't bother me, so that's good.
Well, listen, we'll let you go watch it.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, good luck.
That's Ben Bayerjan again. What a great career he has had here in Ontario. Of course, started out in Quebec, and Mario, his brother, one of the top drivers for decades. And so he knows a good horse. I think he knows at this point a youngster if he's got one that's got the tools at least.
Exactly right, and that horse, a horse with a plan. We've got a horse with a plan here and a driver with a plan. Like you said, you wonder what the strategy as the trainer is, but. First time out here, the qualifier for this filly, as Mr. Bayerjan says, we're just going to try to get off the gate properly. We're going to try to follow along and close up well, and we'll come back next week and try to do it even better.
Nice look at the one that we'll leave beside her there. Number 4, Miss Mass Appeal, one of several sent out today by the tandem of Greg McNair, son Doug, who's driving. Muscle Mass filly, she was a solid runner-up a week ago in her first try. Home in 28-3 on that occasion. We'll see what she has in store for us today. On the trot again and back upstairs to Mark McKelvey with the play-by-play.
All right, Greg, thanks so much. A field of now 7 as we're going to scratch number 3, Feel Like a Woman. Number 1 is Very Sassy. She's a daughter of Muscle Mass. Matt Bax trains and drives. 2 is Meme Queen, Propulsion filly. Kyle Fellows the trainer, Louis Waugh to steer. $10,000 graduate of the Harrisburg sale. 3 is out. 4 is Miss Mass Appeal. She's a daughter of Muscle Mass. Doug McNair for Greg McNair. 5, HP Fashionista. Also a daughter of Muscle Mass. Ben Bayerjan trains. Tyler Borth with the driving assignment. This was a $135,000 purchase from the London Classic. 6 is Slim Daisy. another muscle mass. This one's trained by Kyle Bossens. It'll be Trevor Henry in the bike, $16,000 buy from London. 7, Bingo Night, Green Manalishi filly. Tyler Jones for Dustin Jones. And rounding things out will be number 8, A Splash of Green. She's a daughter of Green Manalishi, trained by Blake McIntosh. James McDonald sits behind, $55,000 purchase from the London Classic. So we're down to a field of 7 for today's 6th qualifier. As we come to the midway point, a reminder, there will be a break following this 6th qualifier. 2-year-old trotting fillies set to go. Here they come. And they're off and trotting. Slim Daisy, Miss Mass Appeal. Those two get out of there quickly. They'll sit 1-2. Coming down the center was HP Fashionista, A Splash of Green to the outside. Very Sassy is away 5th, followed by Meme Queen and Bingo Night. So it's Slim Daisy who gets the top, and in second will be Miss Mass Appeal. Coming across, A Splash of Green. She settles 3rd. Racing in 4th, the debuting HP Fashionista to the opening quarter in 31 seconds flat. So Trevor Henry leads the way with Slim Daisy. In second is Miss Mass Appeal. 3rd then is A Splash of Green. 4th up the backside, HP Fashionista. Right behind that one is Very Sassy 5th. Meme Queen 6th, and 7th is Bingo Night. It's a couple of muscle mass fillies who are 1-2. It's a 2-length advantage for Slim Daisy on Miss Mass Appeal. A Splash of Green, looking to rebound today, is sitting there 3rd, 3.5 off the lead as they were by the half in 1 minute and 4/5. Second quarter trotted in 29 4. And up front, we've got 3 of them in a nice tight pack as they go by 5/8. Slim Daisy by 1.5 lengths from Miss Mass Appeal. A Splash of Green right behind her 3rd. 5 lengths going back to HP Fashionista in 4th. Very Sassy tracks that one 5th. Then to Meme Queen. And last is Bingo Night. Coming to 3/4 and tipping out from 4th. The first one to move. That's Very Sassy. At 3/4, Slim Daisy there, and 131 3. So Slim Daisy has taken them all the way. They're into the stretch. Can we get another gate-to-wire winner? Slim Daisy in second. Miss Mass Appeal. Fanning out was A Splash of Green. Very Sassy in 4th. Then back to Meme Queen 5th. So under attack was Slim Daisy. And going by was Miss Mass Appeal. And on the outside is A Splash of Green. Miss Mass Appeal inside. A Splash of Green on the outside. These two to decide it. And it was at the inside. Miss Mass Appeal who wins. A Splash of Green was second. Very Sassy was 3rd. Slim Daisy was 4th. 2:01 flat.
Miss Mass Appeal, second a week ago, does one better. This time around, a winner emerging victorious from a pocket trip in 2:01, 29-2 home. Outkicks the closing A Splash of Green. A nice rebound effort from that one. She was a winner in week 1, miscue last week. 3rd qualifier today for her, finishing 2nd. There's tempo setter Slim Daisy. Change of tactics for that one today. Lowered her time a bit as well. Very Sassy, another muscle mass filly. A solid 3rd, I thought, in there. And I think they would be very encouraged with her first trip behind the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a pretty good qualifier all the way around. You know, a lot of times in these qualifiers, you end up with the horse that ends up winning on the front, or the best horse on the front. Not often do you see, you know, horses coming, out of the 2-hole and following 3rd along and end up winning that race. But that's very encouraging to see some young trotters go on by like that.
Good day for the McNair camp so far. They've had 2 wins, both coming on the trot. Earlier today, they clicked with the Walner filly, Walner's Grove, and here this time out, it is Miss Mass Appeal. Again, qualifier number 2 for her and winning it, and showing, I think, good versatility in there, and it's a good sign that Doug McNair is able to give her that kind of trip scenario today. Looks like she's really perfectly primed for the first pari-mutuel race, whenever that's going to be. Absolutely,
and like you said, that was a great trip, and you know, for a minute there, it looked like James, to me anyways, was going to go on by and win that one, and I don't know, I thought Miss Mass Appeal kind of sort of dug in there, which is nice to see for a horse so early on in their career, you know.
Yeah, for sure. You're just looking for those small small signs at this point. The time, I'm not going to say irrelevant, but you don't put too much weight into that. There's a look at HB Fashionista. And talking to Ben there, you could tell he didn't expect too much today in the time department for her. Just, I think, looking for that additional experience behind the gate, and we'll take something away from that. And
she looked super. She trotted very well, as he said.
Exactly. And, maybe the next time out or 2-3 starts in, that's when you'll start to look or hope to see that improvement or whatever. And, you know what? It may or may not happen. That's the thing with 2-year-olds. They progress at different rates. Sometimes it clicks like a light switch going off, and for others they're already ready to rock, and we're seeing some of that today.
Yeah, and she went 2-3, 2-4, just like he'd planned and he wanted, and we'll come back out, try to do it faster next time. And some of the times those lazy ones, especially early on in the career, maybe it's a little bit better, and as they don't hurt themselves, they don't go too much, and we'll slowly develop.
So there's the scene this morning. It's been a busy morning so far. We're just at the midway point, so getting ready for our intermission. That'll give you time to take a break, grab a snack, maybe top up the coffee, and come back for the second half of the show. As mentioned earlier, we're going to try and get Tyler Jones on here. They've had a busy day. He's got a little bit of a break in the action, so we'll see if we can get him to sit in for a quick segment when we return. But we'll take an intermission right now for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Horses will be warming up for the second half of today's session. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Stay with us. You're watching the Rookie Showcase on PrimeTime Racing. Welcome back. It is day one of weekend number 3 of the Rookie Showcase here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Want to quickly remind you, we've got a busy one here tomorrow. 14 races. The Colts and Geldings will be competing here tomorrow morning. And we invite you to join us for the complimentary owners breakfast. It'll be part of the festivities here as well at the new railside deck, and that's going to start at 9:30. Pancake breakfast. Lots of goodies there on tap tomorrow morning. So that's part of the Rookie Showcase. It's the complimentary owner's breakfast, and hope to see a nice crowd out here tomorrow morning as it's expected to really warm up this weekend. And things could warm up on track as well. It's been a fun morning so far as we welcome you back trackside. Greg Blanchard, joined now by Tyler Jones, in for a little segment while he's got a break in his action today. 4 drives in total for you, Tyler. 3 for your father, Dustin. In the first half, you'll be driving a first-time trotter for Duncan Brewer later in the card. But I want to just chat a little bit about your dad's operation, and I know he winters these days in Florida. So tell us a bit about that and when he ventures back north here with his youngsters.
Been training in Florida for the last 7 winters, I believe.
Just that one on the left. Just a technical issue. There we go.
Got it? There we go.
There we go.
So my dad's been training his babies and his young horses in Florida for about this 7 winters now. So he always goes down November 1st. He'll take his horses, his 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, and turn them over and train them down, break them there. And so after the sales, Harrisburg, Lexington, he'll filter the last ones in. And then they winter there until May 1st. And then May 1st, we always come back to Ontario and race primarily in the Sire Stake program here.
And you stay up here during the winter time. You do a lot of driving as well here. You're picking up steam on this circuit. And then you must be excited, and you must, I'm sure, be in regular contact and get updates on the youngsters before they arrive back here?
Yes, so winter I think is long for everybody, especially in Canada. And when I'm able to talk to my dad every day and he tells me how good his horses are training, it just shows you the light at the end of the tunnel for wintertime. And now the weather's coming our way and turning around, and it's an exciting time of year.
Your dad's been at it a long time. He's got such an impressive resume as well. What would you say are some of the guiding principles that he has used over the years to garner that kind of success?
I think the biggest thing is just patience. You sort of just kind of have to let the horse do it on their own and try not to push them past their limits. When you do that, you sort of kind of run into some issues, and you can, that's when you push them too far, you can get some injuries, and then you're out of the game. So you want to try to just let them do it their own and let them learn on their own. And there's a lot of experiences that they need to go through and a lot of plateaus they need to reach. And every step, you just got to be happy with what they're able to do themselves.
And his record, we talk about how impressive it is. He's the guy that developed a Fashion Frenzy, who now is a household name here in Canada. I remember a great trotter, You Had a Dream, who was one of the favorites in his Hamiltonian year. Tough trip, I know, in the final of that. But what about you as a youngster growing up, and when you caught the bug, who were the favorites that you remember?
Well, my favorite horse has to be You Will Be Queen. She was my first gold winner here at Mohawk in my first year that I came from Quebec and moved to Ontario to race full time. She capped off my first season with a OSS win here at Mohawk, and that was, it's pretty hard to beat that. I've had some luck and won a couple golds in the recent years, but the first one is definitely the most special one, and now she has her first foal that's going to qualify in a few weeks, so I'm very excited to see him.
All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about the ones that you brought here today, some of the other ones that we'll be keeping an eye out as well. So we're going to get you to hang around, if you don't mind, for this qualifier number 7, as we will kick off the back half of the card. We're going to be on the pace here You know, you're out there in the mornings. You help Luke Blay as well, do some work with him. Your dad, of course, and then driving for many of these stables here at night. And so you know them well. I'm sure you know a lot of these horses, and you've probably been watching these horses the last few weeks too with as much interest as anybody. One that really turned heads last week was PNG Shadow for Dr. Ian Moore. Maybe you thought on Doc Moore's operation, and you know, we're getting used to seeing this year in and year out. And this one sired by Cattle Wash, a stallion that's having quite an impact too.
Yeah, there's a lot of cattle washes that are making noise right now, so it's just going to come down to who's got the best one. They all seem to do really well. My dad and I qualified one in the 4th race, a nice cattle wash filly. She did everything she had to do today, but like I said, there's a lot out there, and we're just going to have to see who's got the top 10, the race in the gold, and who's got the best one at the end of the year.
So they're getting set to go here for this 7th qualifier. Again, we'll take a break. We'll chat a little bit more with Tyler after that. We've got a couple in here, in fact, 3 of them that are going to be facing the gate for the first time, and also in the field that impressive winner from last week, PNG Shadow. Let's see what's in store from her this weekend. Back up to Mark McKelvey with the call.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. As the horses are lining up, a field of 7 for qualifier number 7. We resume with today's action going into the back half. Driver change on 2, Cosmic Crisp. It'll be Trevor Henry. Number 1, Tanya Seelster, a Better's Delight filly, trained by Peter Brickman. Travis Henry drives. This one came out of Harrisburg for $5,000 US. 2 is Cosmic Crisp, McWicked filly. Herb Holland trains Trevor Henry to steer. Lexington select buy for $13,000 US. 3 is DA Black Beauty, Shadow Play filly. Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair drives. $13,000 from the London Classic. 4 Rising Shadow is a daughter of Shadow Play. Jacques Dupont trains. The driver is J.R. Plant, $33,000 London Classic grad. 5 Poisonous Delight, Better's Delight filly. Jonathan Drury for trainer Tony Beaton. This one from the Lexington select sale for $22,000 US. 6 is LD's Gina. Poppy Rob Hanover filly, James McDonald for Beaton. This one came out of the Lexington sale for $60,000 US. And 7 is PNG Shadow. Dr. Ian Moore trains, Louis Waugh drives. She's a daughter of Cattle Wash. A field of 7 set to go for today's 7th. Here they come. And they're off and pacing. Pretty even beginning across the board here. We'll see who wants to come away with the lead. LD's Gina is going to push ahead now. To the inside is DA Black Beauty. Here comes PNG Shadow. Have to think a few of them are waiting on that one. It's Rising Shadow in 4th. On the outside is Poisonous Delight 5th. Then to Tanya Seelster 6th. And 7th is Cosmic Crisp. Into the first turn, and it's LD's Gina to lead it. Racing in 2nd is DA Black Beauty. PNG Shadow settles for the time being 3rd. 4th is Rising Shadow, then to Poisonous Delight, followed by Tanya Seelster, and the trailer's Cosmic Crisp. 31 and 4 was the opening quarter. Pacing fillies move into the backstretch, and out from 3rd, here comes PNG Shadow. So the waiting is over, as that one will rush up to the lead. The daughter of Cattle Wash, an impressive winner last week in her qualifying debut, moves to the top. LD's Gina relegated to 2nd. DA Black Beauty tracks closely 3rd. Racing in 4th is Rising Shadow. 5th, coming to the midway point, that's Poisonous Delight, who is followed by Tanya Seelster, and the last one, Cosmic Crisp. 1 minute and 3/5 was the half-mile time. It's PNG Shadow leading the way for Louis Waugh. LD's Gina in 2nd, got covered up there going to the midway point, and we'll track the leader. 3rd is DA Black Beauty. Underway now. Poisonous Delight is advancing on the outside. Now moves up into 4th. Rising Shadow is inside 5th. Then Tanya Seelster 6th. And Cosmic Crisp is coming to the outside. PNG Shadow at 3/4 in 1:30 and 2. So she'll spin for home and certainly look to sprint away. PNG Shadow now gets the separation of 4 lengths coming to the 8th pole. LD's Gina in 2nd. DA Black Beauty is 3rd. Poisonous Delight at that one's wheel is 4th. Followed size Cosmic Crisp. And check out PNG Shadow. Another eye-catching performance here today. PNG Shadow will win it by 8. Finishing in 2nd was LD's Gina. 3rd was going to be DA Black Beauty. Then it was Poisonous Delight 4th. Cosmic Crisp 5th. 157 and 1. 26 and 4 home for PNG Shadow.
So PNG Shadow going to get done again, 57-1. The overall time, not much difference, but that last quarter was sparkling. Tyler, 26-4, kicker on the end, doing it on her own. Maybe talk a little bit about what Louis would have been, what his approach would have been early on. It looked like he, by design, wanted to get her in behind some horses and follow a helmet for a while rather than just kind of jet her to the front again.
Yeah, I think last week was basically just a go around and see what she can do, and she proved that she's got a little talent. And today, I really liked the way that Louis just got off the gate and made a remove at the 3/8, and the horse responded extremely well and looked like she made a pretty professional debut again today.
And there is a look at her, good-looking physical specimen, and as most of Doc Moore's are, right? He's got a pretty good eye when he's picking out youngsters.
Yeah, no, she that second quarter was really impressive. That's 28 and something there for the field, so she went a really good second quarter and was able to back it down, go 29-4 in the third. So that's pretty impressive to be able to pull off a couple moves like that already in her second start.
We've been talking about the mannerisms of these horses and how professional acting they are as a whole. How much have you seen that evolution in your time in racing in terms of how the youngsters how quickly they learn the ropes?
Yeah, I mean, I've been training horses since I was about 12 years old, and that was 18 or 19 years ago. So just from seeing what my dad's been able to develop in the last 20 years and seeing where they are now, you can definitely tell that the breed is evolving and the speeds are coming along with it. And it seems like people or horses are able to do it a lot sooner and quicker, and it's just great for the sport.
All right, let's take another quick timeout. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more with Tyler, one more segment about his horses that he unveiled earlier today, his drive coming up a little bit later, and much more. We are into the back half of today's coverage here on Primetime Racing.
O'Brien Award Breeder of the Year, Tara Hills, is home to harness racing's most exciting young stallion. Green Manalishi's first crop has taken Ontario and the Grand Circuit by storm. It includes Peaceful Way winner Mona Lishi. World champion Cattle Wash has seen multiple New Jersey Sire Stake winners from his first crop, including final winning filly Reckless Abandon. His 2024 yearlings are eligible to the Ontario Sire Stakes. Don't miss your chance to buy one of their sons or daughters this fall. For more, visit TaraHills.com.
The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns this October to the Western Fair District Agriplex. The nation's leading consigners choose the London Classic, offering hundreds of yearlings by many of the sport's leading sires, all under one roof at one of North America's best venues. Recent sale graduates include Canada's Rookie Pacing Colt of the Year, Stonebridge Wizard, O'Brien Award finalist Paquette, and O'Brien Award winning double millionaire Logan Park. The London Classic Yearling Sale, where your dollar goes further and where champions are found. Find out more at londonclassic.ca.
Welcome back to beautiful Woodbine Mohawk Park. There's a look at all of our sponsors making this coverage possible. I hope you're enjoying it so far. A big welcome to everybody tuning in. Another worldwide audience on hand here this morning to watch these impressive youngsters go postward. Big thank you to the team behind the scenes, except Curtis McDonald. Our man Curtis is he's poolside today in the Bahamas.
Yeah, he must have
tough gig.
NA Cup Primetime Racing must have been good to him.
He worked so hard getting that show ready. He needed a little break, so we sent him there. He's poolside.
Definitely
he is on
well
the computer.
deserved.
He's actually doing work. He's never far from that. So, and he'll be back tomorrow.
Quick shout out to Jamie. She's definitely the brains and the brawn of that operation. So shout out to Jamie.
And Tyler said it, not me, Curtis. So there you go. Great to have Tyler Jones joining us for a few more minutes. We're going to keep you here. Talk about the horses, just your overall group of 2-year-olds this year. You were telling us it's a mixed bag. You've got American breds, Ontario breds, and kind of everything in between.
Yep. So my dad and I, we have 11 2-year-olds. A lot of them are homebreds. He's got 10 mares of his own, so it's a mixed bag for sure. But we know the mares well, and we've done our homework on them, and they've all raced, or most of them have raced, and we've liked them. And now we're finally getting to the prize, and hopefully some of these horses turn out for them, because it's been a lot of investing, but I think we're doing the right thing.
And you had 3 babies in action earlier this morning in the first half of the card. What were your hopes for the 3 coming into today? We'll talk about them a little bit individually.
Yep. So these 3 horses were horses that wintered in Florida. So they today was actually their first time they've ever traveled to Mohawk Park. We've trained them a lot at the home farm, at the training center, and we were able to gate train them a few times. So they've had that experience behind the gate, so we weren't too worried. But it's definitely new sights and new surroundings for them today, and they all got around, and the trotters stayed flat, and the pacer did well. So we're really happy. It was a good morning.
Yeah, figuratively, the first one you went with, Green Manalishi. You said you had her individually timed around 2:04, which is right where you wanted to go. You had Cackleberry, a cattle wash filly, on the pace. Her first start, she came up against Lavender Sealster in that real quick 54 and 3 mile. You had her individually timed in 1:58. And then Bingo Night, another Green Manalishi in qualifier 6, had her in 2:04 as well. So you said they all went around the time you wanted. You talked about the experience of coming here for the first time. Just that whole part of the process is maybe as or more important than what they do on the track, right?
Yes, definitely. By general rule, most trainers will come and train them here or jog them at least once just to show them around, so they know where they're going. But the horses that we brought in today were very sensible and well-mannered already, so we thought that they could handle that jump by themselves. And today they did. Figuratively, she's a nice little homebred filly. We've raced a few fillies out of that family before, and they've all seemed to do pretty well. We had a grassroots filly last year, It Don't Matter to Me, and prior to that it was Winooski. So they all raced, and they did well. So we're hoping that they were royalty for life, and now this one we have a Green Manalishi. So we'll see what they can do, but they've proven to be a good sire already. So we're hoping that she can turn out to be okay. As for Cackleberry, she's a cattle wash filly. So as we were talking before, there's a lot that have made the jump, and they look pretty impressive. So hopefully she can match up with them. She was in a very fast qualifier, but I was happy with what she did. We were hoping to go 59, and she went 58, so we're very happy.
Awesome. Well, listen, you've got one more drive later. Karma is a Queen, a first-time starter, daughter of Green Manalishi for Duncan Brewer. Good luck with that one. Good luck with the stable this season. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going back up to Mark McKelvey. Mark, while Curtis is poolside, we're here holding down the fort, but we enjoy it.
Some just have it a little better than others, eh, Greg? They're lining up for qualifier number 8, scratch number 3. Southwind Omaha, 1 Claire Island, my MVP filly. Bob McClure for Gabby Sasso. 2, Wish Upon a Star Dale. 6-pack filly, Tyler Borth for Susie Kerwood. 3 is out. 4 is Mushy Peas, Wheelin' and Dealin' filly. Greg McNair trains. Chris Matthews will drive. 5, Cher Hill, a muscle mass filly. Doug McNair for Greg McNair. 6 is Sweetest Tricks, a Trixton filly. James McDonald for Herb Holland. 7 is Lo and Behold, a Green Manalishi filly. Louis Waugh for Meg Crone. And 8 is Life is Great, a Resolve filly. Billy Davis for Blake McIntosh. Scratch down to a field of 7 for qualifier number 8. Here they come. And they're off and trotting. It's going to be Life is Great from the far outside. Coming away quickly will be Cher Hill. Wish Upon a Star Dale, also with some good strides in the opening 8th. It's Claire Island holding ground at the inside. Then we go to Mushy Peas, back to Swedish Tricks, and at that one's wheel will be Lo and Behold. Still trying to settle things up front. Life is Great on the outside. Inside, as they drive into the turn, is Cher Hill. Gives way now. Life is Great makes it to the top. So in second will be Cher Hill. Racing third is Wish Upon a Star Dale, who gets into that 3-hole in front of Claire Island fourth. 31 and 2 was the opening split. Trotting fillies move to the backstretch, and it's the Resolve daughter. Life is Great. Third qualifier for her, and for the first time, she's put up on the lead. In second is Cher Hill. Third is Wish Upon a Star Deo. Fourth is Claire Island. Then racing in fifth is Mushy Peas. Back to Swedish Trick sixth, and seventh is Lo and Behold. Single file and tightly packed as they make their way up to the midway point. Out of the 2-hole now comes Cher Hill. That one will look to loop around on Life is Great as they're by the midway point. Half-mile time, 1:02 and 4. So we get a lead change as they make their way into the far turn, and Cher Hill, the daughter of Muscle Mass, has taken the top spot here for McNair. Life is Great is in second. Tightening up, looking to close the gap. Third, Wish Upon a Star Deo. Then we're back to Claire Island in fourth. Fifth is Mushy Peas. 2 lengths into Swedish Tricks, and another 2 to Lo and Behold. Cher Hill looking good on the lead, coming to 3/4. Life is Great second. Wish Upon a Star Deo still there third. 3/4 clocking, 1:32 and 1. They'll step for home as they took it up a notch there in the third panel, and they're into the stretch. Cher Hill trying to draw away on Life is Great. Wish Upon a Star Deo now angling out for fourth, and then we go back to Claire Island in fourth. Less than an eighth of a mile to go, and the Muscle Mass filly Cher Hill is looking good. She leads it by 4, made that move to the lead at the midway point, and goes on to victory. A good rebound score here for Cher Hill, finishing in second. Wish Upon a Star Deo. Life is Great, the early leader, was third. Claire Island was fourth. 2 minutes and 3/5 for Cher Hill.
Cher Hill, who last time out made the mistake in the late going, rebounds in a big way today, 2 minutes and 3/5. And the back half in the race, an eye catcher, 57 and 4. Cher Hill, daughter of Muscle Mass and a sibling to a $260,000 winner called Bully Boy Hill. And not a big filly, just kind of a nice size filly, but a big, long gait on her and lots of speed to go with it.
Yeah, sometimes in this 2-year-old trotting filly category, it's not all about size. It's about doing it properly and being able to get to the wire. And like you said, that's a super impressive a mile with a fantastic back half. And like you said, we're low on our times basically all around the board here.
And yeah, you certainly don't get discouraged based on one miscue, one mistake at this stage. You go back to the drawing board, and there's a lot of talent here. So we've looked at what we've seen early on here in the provincial program is that's going to be starting up in a couple of weeks here. 2-year-olds in Ontario Sire Stakes action. It has the makings of kind of a special group, I think, this year. There seems to be a lot of depth in these qualifiers. There are many that we could say are catching our attention. So going to be fun to watch them here 2-3 weeks, a month down the road when they start to bang heads in those races.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like every qualifier, every race that comes out here, there's something that we can look forward to. And again, like we keep saying, the ones that stand out are the ones that don't look good or don't do great, because most of them are doing a very good job.
There they are coming off track, trotters, for qualifier number 8 now, as we're well into the back half of this Friday morning session. 12 in total, so we've got a few more left to go here today. Looking ahead to tomorrow again, 14 races. We're going to see the boys in action on the trot and pace, and some of those impressive winners from a week ago will be coming back. We've already had a pari-mutuel race in Canada, and it was a TH Check Me Out. Blake McIntosh, just saw him on screen a moment ago. The first 2-year-old race winner in Canada this season, that daughter of Cattle Wash, looked impressive in winning. And we're going to see more of those races pop up here. Blake already with a winner last night in New York Sires action. We talked about Quick Away as well. So fun to watch, and he turned heads here a week ago in qualifying action, and to see him immediately have an impact south of the border against top New York sired performers is a lot of fun.
Yeah, those horses south of the border are ready to go at this time of year as well, right? And I get, not an Ontario sired horse, but one that was certainly produced up here is still fun to watch, to be able to go and compete against everybody in the sport.
The rookie showcase continues this morning. We'll take another break. Back with more Pacers in a moment.
The London
This
Classic
camera,
Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns this October to the Western Fair District Agriplex. The nation's leading consigners choose the London Classic, offering hundreds of yearlings by many of the sport's leading sires, all under one roof at one of North America's best venues. Recent sale graduates include Canada's Rookie Pacing Colt of the Year, Stonebridge Wizard, O'Brien Award finalist Paquette, and O'Brien Award winning double millionaire Logan Park. The London Classic Yearling Sale, where your dollar goes further and where champions are found. Find out more at londonclassic.ca.
I'm awfully glad I won.
The Hamiltonian, it's one of the most prestigious races. It's quite a thrill. It's one of the biggest thrills of my life.
We delivered. The horse delivered. It was amazing. I can't believe it.
I am stunned. I'm absolutely stunned.
This is obviously the pinnacle.
It's just something that I can't explain.
This is just an absolute dream come true.
It feels good now, but I'm sure it's going to feel even better tomorrow.
For me to do it, this is my moment.
I might have got a little excited.
Busy morning here at the Campbellville Oval, and busy for some barns as well. Greg McNair, we've seen him send out a couple of winners already this morning. Greg, another great season, right? He captured his 6th Johnson Cup title last year, top trainer in the Ontario Sire Stakes program. 2 winners today, 2 of 10 that he will send postward this morning. Looks like he's going to be a big player again, a big force in the provincial program. And Anthony Beaton, of course, who won the North America Cup and Meadowlands Pace in 2024, has 12 starters, including a pair in this upcoming contest as we are back on the pace for qualifier number 9. The Beaton barn will send out front and center from post 3 a McWicked filly from Lioness Hanover, who's a sister to the $800,000 winning Queen of the Pride, a Lexington purchase, and the Harrisburg purchase Parisian Chic, a daughter of Butter's Delight from Windsong Parisian. Both did qualify a week ago. A Clean Deal also back for a second consecutive week. Your post 1 starter just missed a week ago in 57-1, missed by a head. This daughter of Cattle Wash looks like, if we're trying to see who the one to beat is in a qualifier, if there's such a thing, I guess, at this stage, it looks like she would be it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she would be the one to beat here. And, we had a quick conversation with Des earlier, and he said they really like this filly. I got to talk to Grace Sorey in the intermission there, and everybody seems to have high hopes and very, very high praise for this horse all the way around.
Yeah, the S word was thrown around, if I'm not mistaken. Special.
Yeah.
So, it's fun to see. A Clean Deal. She's a Cattle Wash from Ideal Talker, the Western Ideal mare. Comes from a great family. She's a sister to 7 winners of $100,000 plus, including $705,000 winner Town Gossip. A Clean Deal looks to carry on that family legacy here, and a good start to her young career last week in the qualifier, just missing and really kicked home with authority as well, 27-2 on the end of the mile to miss by only a half a length on that occasion. Front and center number 3 had good individual time last week, 58-2, finished kind of mid-pack there. So if there's one that could step up and do something eye-catching today, I think that could be one.
Yep, for sure. And coming out of Tony Beaton's barn, again, we expect big things usually with those horses. And sometimes you see these ones who, we've been picking out the ones who won and finished second the last couple of weeks. I still like to see, this horse was sort of 9 off at the quarter, and then we only get beat 6 eventually. So, we don't have 27 seconds on the end from that qualifier, but made up a little bit of ground, which is nice to see.
The Jody Cullen barn sends out number 2 Half Fast, finished 4th last week. This is another homebred from that operation. They're the winningest barn in Canada this season, and they're developing a strong breeding program there as well. So Half Fast, a big Jim filly, and they're in fashion
Yep.
these days, right? The great Chantilly, by the way, we'll see her back in action this weekend, so that's fantastic
That's
news.
fantastic. It was unfortunate to miss her last week, but we're excited for her. The Cullen Barn, again, you can't argue their dominance and the amount of races they win, and trying to get into some of these younger stakes horses, that's exciting to see as well.
Starting gates in motion. It's qualifier number 9. Back up to Mark.
2-year-old pacing fillies in today's 9th qualifier. Field of 7. Taking their spots, driver change on 4, Parisian Chic, 2, Doug McNair. 1 is a clean deal. She's a daughter of Cattle Wash. Louis Waugh drives for Kyle Fellows. A grad of the Lexington Select Sale for $20,000 US. 2, Half Fast, Big Jim filly. Travis Cullen for Jody Cullen. 3 is Front and Center. Mick Wicked filly. Tony Beaton trains. The driver, James McDonald. This one comes out of the Lexington Sale for $27,000 US. 4, Parisian Chic, Better's Delight filly, also trained by Beaton. Doug McNair will drive. This was a $50,000 US buy out of Harrisburg. 5 is Bet on Jane, Betting Line filly, Todd Ratchford for Dwayne Avery. 6 is Amazing Addie, Shadow Play filly, Bob McClure for John Pentland. This one came out of the Lexington Sale for $11,000 US. And 7 is 7 Summers Ago, Cattle Wash filly. Mike Timpano trains, the driver's Tyler Borth. Today's 9th qualifier sees a field of 7 2-year-old pacing fillies lined up. Starting gate into the stretch, and here they come. And they're off and pacing. Amazing Addie. Going to drive ahead out to the early lead. At the inside is a clean deal. Here in the center of the track is Bet on Jane as that one looks to straighten out and move ahead. Getting away 4th is Front and Center. Meanwhile, Parisian Chic is 5th. 6 is Half Fast. And 7 Summers Ago took off the gate and drops to the back as they're into the first turn. And the leader is Amazing Addie for Bob McClure. Getting into the 2-hole was Bet on Jane in front of a clean deal 3rd. Opening quarter time 31-1. And the leader here, as they hit the backstretch, is Amazing Addie, 2nd qualifier for this daughter, a Shadow Play. Last week sat near the back, an early leader, but going to have some company now. Some struggles as we look to the back to Parisian Chic. That one was taken down into the safety lane by McNair, trying to straighten that one out and gets her back out onto the race course. Meanwhile, we have a new leader as a clean deal, brushed up to the top here for Waugh. A clean deal by the midway point in a minute and a 5th. So they were scooting along there. That's 29 seconds and even quicker for the new leader, a clean deal, who moved up to the lead. Amazing Addie's in 2nd. Bet on Jane is 3rd. 4th, that is Front and Center. 5th is Half Fast. 6th, as it went by 5/8, is 7 Summers Ago. And the last one is Parisian Chic. To 3/4, a 2-length advantage up front for the daughter of Cattle Wash, a clean deal. 2nd is Amazing Addie. Their 3rd is Bet on Jane. 3/4 time, 129-3. Top of the stretch and a clean deal. Swings him into the lane. A runner-up last time. She kicked home strong in 27-2. We'll see what she's got here for the final quarter as she's getting some separation now in Amazing Addie. Bet on Jane is 3rd. Far outside is Half Fast. Into the inside, Front and Center. Back to 7 Summers Ago and Parisian Chic. But taking off in the stretch was a clean deal. Going to get a qualifying score today. She'll pick up a mark as she's going to win this one by 5. Amazing Addie was 2nd. Bet on Jane was 3rd. And on the outside, Half Fast was 4th. 156-4 for a clean deal.
Yeah, exactly. A clean deal getting it done as we thought she probably would. She turned heads last week. Good closing, 2nd just missing, and today wins it going away. Daughter of Cattle Wash, 56-4, sprinting home at 56-3, and with 27-1 final quarter speed as well. So it looks like this one's going to carry on the family legacy. Nothing but winners and money when you look back on the maternal side for this one. So a clean deal, mission accomplished there. And we're just, it seems like race after race after race these first couple of weekends, we're seeing these impressive performances. Here's another one.
Another impressive performance. Great job to Team Fellows. Great story there. Give her another shout out. Des wasn't wrong when he told us that he liked this horse early. We get another 2nd and change off our mark from last week. And like you said, we're ready to go and ready to rock.
looking ahead, I'm going to double check the date. I think it's a couple of weeks. We're going to see the first OSS Gold for the 2-year-old fillies, and I think you're going to see a nice group right off the bat. And I'm going to have a tough time right now separating some of them. Right, the first 2-year-old winner. Well, we got Jody right over there, and I think he drove the filly. TH, check me out. Jody, you drove her. Oh, sorry, Tyler Borth. You were in that race though. That's right. Jody was in. You were second. That's why I got confused.
Yep.
But there's 2 fillies right there that immediately come to mind. 1-2 finishers and 54 and 26 and change on the end, and then we've seen a host of them qualify impressively, and more to come here today.
Yeah, and like it's hard to say for me sometimes these first quarters in the qualifier. Just getting to the quarter in 31, 32 seconds is not really race-like. And it slows you down for the rest of the mile. So I think Des wanted to maybe compete a little bit more with Lavender Sealster's mark 54 earlier today. We didn't quite get there, but that's not to say, like you said, we can't always just go on the time. Sometimes you got to throw it out. And again, when we get behind the gate with some money on the line, I think these fillies will battle.
Yeah, it's amazing. And from what we've seen so far, I think there are fillies that are ready to go, and probably 53.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Nope. The game is crazy. The speed that they can create with these horses is insane. I mean, there's a lot of stories from my dad's career of, his first horse breaking 2 minutes, which doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
I can remember that. I remember, growing up in the Maritimes, the first 2-minute mile, it was huge. Right. Felt like a game changer at the time. I guess it was, to some extent. Yeah. And, the 2-year-old trotters. I remember as a kid, now this is on the East Coast, but you had a trotter that could maybe trot in 2:15 and stay flat.
Exactly, yeah.
You were going to win some decent money on the stakes trail, but now if you can't trot in 56 or 57 once you get going, you're probably going to be kind of a fringe player.
It's a game of speed anymore. It's a game of speed.
Speaking of trotters, I think we're going to just stay on here and go right into this next one. We've got trotters coming up next in qualifier number 10. 3 more to go on this 12-race session. And in here, it's a field of 8 scheduled to go postward. Some intriguing youngsters that we're going to get a look at here, including Sister Scarlet, your post-7 starter. One of those 6-figure babies that we touched on earlier on the show. This is a Father Patrick filly and the second foal from Highland Foxy Trotter, and you might recognize the name of the sibling to this one, Jeff. Her name is Foxy Amy, filly that came into the season with aspirations of racing in the OSS Gold. Bit of a bumpy start for her, but boy, did she put it together last time out. She won a grassroots contest going away in 52 and 4, and she in fact entered tonight back in a gold contest, and looks like she's back in form. So I think we'll be taking a good look here at Sister Scarlet.
Yeah, of course. And whose barn is the sister in?
Paul McDonnell.
And Paul McDonnell's, okay, all right. Yeah. Again, looking at Sister Scarlet here, Mark Etzel coming out of the Mark Etzel barn. You mentioned Highland Kismet earlier, but Mark Etzel knows how to get them to trot.
He certainly does, and those are the types of trainers you look at and you expect to be here on days like this with impressive-looking babies. We'll see some London Classic Sale graduates in here. Another of the 6-figure yearling babies from the London Classic HP Imagine, from the Claude Hamel breeding operation here, sibling to 3 $100,000 winners, including HP Titania Runner, who's banked $450,000. D.A. Merlot comes out of the London Classic as well. Blake McIntosh will send out this daughter of Green Manalishi for a second start. This one first foal from the mare Mabel Kipp, and we'll have a sibling called D.A. Johnny Cash selling this fall at the London sale as well. And Timel Envy from bred by Timel Farms of Oldcastle, and they'll be back in the London Classic this year with a nice looking consignment, around a dozen that operation will be sending out. So real nice catalog. We're excited about that sale. More than 300 entered this year for the London Classic. And that roster, by the way, is up online at londonclassic.ca. Getting a look at some of the starters here. Karma is queen. We had Tyler Jones on earlier. It was nice to get the perspective of what they were looking for today. Now, the horses he drove earlier today, they're not the ones that are going to jump off the page, anyone checking results today, but they're okay with that, right? They hit the target they had in mind coming in.
Exactly. Maybe something along the lines of what Ben Bayarjan was saying to us. The plan is to come out here and, maybe we knew we weren't looking to win the qualifier, but a good solid effort, stay strong through the wire and continue to do our job properly. I did get to talk to Tyler a little bit, and he was happy with everything that he put on the track so far.
And we're seeing them getting ready to line up there. There's Mark in the driver's seat himself. Talked about him in this spot, and he'll want to just, I think, get a good read on the horse and see if there's any other changes or anything that has to be done prior to the next start when, a start or two, and then he'll likely hand over the lines to somebody. But we saw that with Doc Moore, right, driving a few of his own recently as well. Then he'll hand over the lines and when he thinks they're ready to rock.
Exactly. So, as long as they're not too tricky.
Right. Exactly.
I've seen Mark continue to drive some. Maybe those are the trickier ones for him, or ones that just aren't ready to be sent down the road or anything.
And getting a look there at HP Imagine, the 5, one of the ones we touched on. $110,000 yearling. Marcel Barrio does the training, and fellow Maritime native Austin Sorey is going to get the driving assignment behind this youngster today. And we're scheduled with a field of 8 marks. Looks like they're all there as scheduled and ready to go.
Yes, that's right, Greg. Field of 8, no changes here. 10th qualifier of the day as the 2-year-old trotting fillies line up. 1 is ICU. She's a daughter of Muscle Mass. J.R. Plant drives for Jacques Dupont. Comes out of the Harrisburg sale for $32,000 US. 2, Karma is a Queen. Green Manalishi filly trained by Duncan Brewer. Tyler Jones drives, $25,000 London Classic buy. 3, Thwarter, Archangel filly. Kyle Fellows the trainer. Louis Wan the bike. 4 is Time Will Envy. She's a daughter of Green Manalishi. Desiree Jones trains. Gino Toscani drives. This one came from Harrisburg for $12,000 US. 5, HP Imagine, daughter of Green Manalishi. Marcel Barrio trains. Austin Sorey in the sulky. $110,000 grad of the London Classic. 6 is D.A. Merlot, Green Manalishi filly. Blake McIntosh trains. Tyler Borth drives. $45,000 from the London Classic. 7, Sister Scarlet, Mark Etzel trainer driver. This daughter of Father Patrick comes from the Lexington sale for $75,000 US. And 8 is Barbara May. She's a daughter of Alarm Detector, Doug McNair for Greg McNair. Gate picks up speed as they're set for today's 10th. And they're off and trotting. First call to Time Will Envy as that one is powering ahead. Off stride went Thwarter. Crossing over, that's going to be D.A. Merlot. From the outside is Barbara May. Then down to the inside is ICU. Racing will be Sister Scarlet 5th. 2 lengths back to Karma is a Queen, who is followed by HP Imagine. And still off stride is Thwarter. So Gino Toscani leads the charge here with Time Will Envy. Second qualifier for this daughter of Green Manalishi. She fronts them by 2 at the opening quarter in 31-2. Time Will Envy in second is D.A. Merlot. Spotted third is Barbara May. 4th is ICU. Then going back to Sister Scarlet 5th. 6th into the backstretch will be Karma is a Queen. 2 lengths to HP Imagine. And back trotting now is Thwarter after the early break. Getting away up front here. Up top by 6, nearly 7 lengths. This is Time Will Envy, who's taken off in the second quarter after the 31-2 opening panel. And it's by the half in 59-3. 28-1 in the second quarter. Time Will Envy all alone as they go into the far turn. Second continues to be D.A. Merlot. Barbara May is in third. ICU is 2 lengths off that one, 4th. Then we will go back as we'll check into Sister Scarlet, who's third from last. Karma is a Queen, ICU, and there was one more. Thwarter is the trailer. Coming to 3 quarters. Time Will Envy through the middle half, just by herself at 3 quarters in 1:28-3. 29 seconds in the third, into the stretch. Time Will Envy had the sizable advantage. Here comes Barbara May now in pursuit. So Barbara May trying to close in on the leader. Drifting out there is Time Will Envy. Barbara May is coming on. ICU is into third. D.A. Merlot back now in fourth. So Barbara May goes on by as Timel Envy will race in second. Barbara May, good looking final quarter here. She was trotting strong. She threw the wire in a good time, 1:58.3. Finishing in second was Timel Envy. Third was ICU. D.A. Merlot was fourth. So 1:58.3 for Barbara May.
Sparkling final time, 1:58.3 for Barbara May, the daughter of Alarm Detector, out of the Angus Hall mare Absolute Sealster. Second qualifying try for her. She was runner-up a week ago, charted in 2 minutes. Today, sat off that hot middle half. This is off a quarter of 31.2, so the final 3/4 of the mile were impressive, and this filly just stayed on the pylons. The leader drifted a little bit in the stretch, so she had a clear seam up the inside, and daughter of Alarm Detector, nice and strong through the wire here to get it done, and 58.3, that might be the fastest, I believe, we've seen on the trot yet this season.
Yep.
For the babies.
Like you say, every qualifier, every race that comes out here, there's at least one that catches your eye. That's a very, very impressive mile. Obviously, the horse on the front, not kind of how you'd want to see your qualifier end, but Dougie's there to pick up the pieces in very good fashion.
So we talked about speed records for 2-year-olds in North America earlier on the broadcast. 57.2. The fastest trotting time for a baby in North America this season. So not too far off of that, just a second more for Barbara May, but did it easily. I think the body language suggests this filly did that pretty nicely in hand. So making a bit of a statement, as is the Greg McNair stable with their third winner of the morning.
Yeah, they're out here. Greg was just sitting with us too. Again, another guy who knows how to have horses ready at this time of year. They're all out here looking very impressive.
Asked Greg for just his thoughts on his group. Pretty low key guy. Just said, no, they're doing it the right way so far. So trying to stay even keeled, obviously, and it is hard to get a read overall on the group. We won't know much for another few weeks, but there are certain ones that at this point are kind of standing out and making a statement, as we said, and I'd put Barbara May in that category. I think this is a talented young filly, and looks like Alarm Detector's got another good youngster on his hands.
Yeah, she was a beautiful trotter going across the wire there. I thought, coming into that one, I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, Timel Envy, the tempo setter there, a little bit tired late, showed tremendous speed in the middle half of the race there, and did hold second, and ICU rallied for third, and I think the Connections would be quite happy with that result today for a first-time starter. She is a daughter of Muscle Mass from another good family, Blurred the mare, a sibling to a couple of $150,000 winners. And I believe that is her first foal. So Muscle Mass, we're seeing that sire, one of the kingpins of the Ontario program, of course. We're seeing him well represented all morning long. So we'll take another quick commercial break. We have 2 more left to go on this Friday morning. You're watching the Rookie Showcase.
Harness Racing Update covers the sport from all the angles, with news, opinion, features, photography, and the most comprehensive racing, breeding, and sales stories in the game from around the globe. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. Plus, HRU's popular Twos in Training series on YouTube gives you the first look at the stars of tomorrow. And the best news, it's all free. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate. Hanover Shoe Farms, the most successful breeder of Hambletonian champions, producing an impressive total of 11 winners, has dominated the race. Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that! Wow!
And again, a big thank you to Hanover Shoe Farms and all of our wonderful sponsors for making this coverage possible. We welcome you back to our final weekend, the first day of our final weekend of coverage of the baby races from Woodbine Mohawk Park. It is the Rookie Showcase on PrimeTime Racing. PrimeTime Racing, new to the airwaves this year, had our first broadcast of the Pepsi North America Cup, covered on Game Plus TV last weekend. And we'll be covering some of the biggest events in Ontario as we look ahead later this season. But it's been a lot of fun to be here to cover these baby races over the first 3 weekends. And the fillies back in the spotlight again this morning. Getting a look at our second-to-last group, Pacers this time around. Jay was one of the fillies that turned heads a week ago in winning. Doc Moore was in the driver's seat himself. She got away 7th. He said going up to the gate, she was a little bit headstrong, and then suddenly dropped the lines, and he showed no speed, so got away last. Then I think he pulled the plugs immediately to get her attention, and then had to let her roll. She wanted to roll then, and came to the outside right at the quarter. So it was a long uncovered journey. And then had a horse to her inside late that looked like he was going to go by, and Jay saw the horse and then came back on and won. So there was a kind of a lot to unpack with that first race for Jay, but at the end of the day, what you could clearly see was how talented this one is. She sold as Justice Sealster last year at the London Classic sale. But Wilma and James McKenzie, the husband-wife ownership of the horse, they always like to change the names to those one-word names that are easily identifiable. So she now goes as Jay, and I'm anxious to see what she'll do this week.
Yeah, I think as you said, turned heads with this move last week, and kind of turned my head walking out here. I thought. I was here last week for the Colts, and the Colts were big looking and they were strong, and I think it's noticeable that the fillies are a little bit smaller. But when Jay came out on the track, I almost mistook her for one of the Colts.
We're going to see Pondle Bay Bobby back in action. She was a strong second last week in her first start, individually timed in 59 and 1, had 27 and 4 final quarter speed. Real fun group to watch here. Dirty Laundry is going to debut here. This is a $70,000 London Classic yearling sale purchase from last year. Bruno Comegna is the owner from Burlington, and she's a cattle wash filly out of a very good mare. Custom Magic Dragon, $352,000, all in Western Canada, and this is her first foal. So exciting mating, I think.
Friends of mine there, the Kamengas. Best of luck to them here. Some nice breeding. Cattle wash out of Custer the Dragon.
One of the more intriguing groups of the day, I would say, Mark McKelvey, as we throw it back up to you.
Absolutely, yes. We're set to go for the 11th qualifier, a field of 7. Driver change on 3, Pownell Bay Bobby to Damian McClellan, while the 4 will be driven by Jonathan Drury, the number 4 being Bull by the Horns. 1 is Dirty Laundry, Cattle Wash filly. Nikki Kamenia trains. The driver's Bob McClure. $70,000 buy from the London Classic. 2 is Romantic Beauty, Better's Delight filly. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair drives. 3 is Pownell Bay Bobby, Century Pharaoh filly, trained by Kyle Fellows. Damian McClellan to drive. This one comes out of the London Classic for $17,000. 4, Bull by the Horns, is a Bulldog Hanover, trained by Tony Beaton. The driver will be Jonathan Drury. Bull by the Horns, bought at Harrisburg for $60,000 US. 5, LD's Kimberly, Sweet Lou filly, James McDonald for Beaton. This one was purchased as a yearling for $30,000 from Lexington. 6 is Jay, Cattle Wash filly, Doc Moore trains, Louis Waugh drives. $95,000 London Classic purchase. And 7 is Brian's Halo, Always Be Mickey filly, Carl Jameson trains, Jody Jameson drives. $15,000 US from Lexington. Field of 7 set to go. Here they come for the 11th. They're off and pacing. Pownell Bay Bobby is coming away quickly with Romantic Beauty, and through the middle will be Jay. Crossing over is Brian's Halo. That one can get down to the rail quickly in 4th in front of LD's Kimberly 5th. Then to Dirty Laundry and Bull by the Horns. It will be Pownell Bay Bobby who leads it, driving into the first turn. Racing in second, that is Romantic Beauty. Settling third was Jay. Right behind that one, Brian's Halo is fourth. Fifth is LD's Kimberly, then to Dirty Laundry, and the last one is Bull by the Horns. 29-2 was the opening split. And the pacing fillies swing to the backstretch. A 2-length leader here is Panel Bay Bobby. Damian McClellan puts this one on the front. Romantic Beauty is in second. Third is Jay. A few lengths back to Brian's Halo, fourth. Then we will find LD's Kimberly racing in fifth. Going back to Dirty Laundry, sixth, and seventh is Bull by the Horns. Nobody moves in the second panel, and they let Panel Bay Bobby do the road work. Romantic Beauty rides in the 2-hole by the half in 59-1. Second quarter in 29-4. Panel Bay Bobby leading the way. Second qualifier for this daughter of Century Pharaoh. Romantic Beauty, second time out for the daughter of Better's Delight is second. Third is Jay. 2 lengths back to Brian's Halo in fourth. LD's Kimberly races off the pace in fifth this week after winning a week ago. And then we are going back to Dirty Laundry. And the last one is Bull by the Horns. They tighten up near the front. Panel Bay Bobby by a length and a half. Angling off that one's back will be Romantic Beauty. Following right there is Jay. 128-1 for 3 quarters. Pacing fillies into the stretch. Panel Bay Bobby still with the advantage. Driving on the outside, Romantic Beauty, who's trying to get on by. Panel Bay Bobby digs in. Romantic Beauty outside, almost on even terms. Here comes Jay now, the cattle wash filly for Waugh. So Romantic Beauty slight lead, but going by is Jay. And Jay takes the lead in deep stretch. It will be Jay to win it. Romantic Beauty was second, finishing third, Panel Bay Bobby. Then we were back to Brian's Halo and LD's Kimberly fifth. 156 flat.
Jade now going 2-4-2, another off-the-pace win this time around. A little bit different scenario. Last week it was a long uncovered journey. This time sat in, nice and manageable third, and then flips 3 wide in the home stretch and closes into a fast final quarter to get it done. And I would think, as she gets ready to embark on her racing career, that's the way you would like to see a horse come in. I would think passing horses and finishing up strong in both qualifiers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said, sometimes, most of the time, probably with Ian's horses, we see them more on the front, right? So a little bit of a different trip for a young horse out of that stable here. But again, those are really good trips, and like you said, it's super encouraging to see a horse go by. That qualifier looked fantastic on paper. There were 4 horses in there, 5 potentially that you were excited to see. We had, probably our tightest finish with 3 horses of the day. And like you said, super encouraging to see young horses go by.
Romantic Beauty, the sports writer sister, she was second, a good second here for Team McNair. Another good result for them this morning. And Panel Bay Bobby, I thought a real nice try on the front end. A little more aggressive approach this week from her, and a couple of really talented fillies going by her late, but she finished with some enthusiasm as well.
Yeah, you can't fault her for that performance at all. It sucks to get beat. It always sucks to have horses go by. You don't want horses to learn that, but that's a really good mile, and I mean, those are really nice fillies in that qualifier.
This could be an early preview of some of the stakes races. We'll see. The Thompson Gears is going to be one of the first, I believe, the first 2-year-old stake event that we're going to see here at its new home now, Woodbine Mohawk Park. That's coming up, and then of course the provincial program, the Ontario Sire Stakes, will get set to swing into action too, and we will see where things shake out with all of these great-looking fillies in those coming weeks. So we have 11 in the books. One more pacing event when we come back to wrap up day 1, weekend 3 of the Rookie Showcase.
Winback Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including a 3-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025, the last great son of the legendary Sun Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beachglass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winback Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com or call 914-773-7777.
Welcome back. We've got 2-year-old filly pacers to wrap things up. 7 in qualifier number 12 today. 11 completed, Jeff. Well, while we have a moment, and who knows, maybe the star of the card emerges here, but if you were going to pick a first star of the morning session so far, whether it be a horse, a participant, who would it be?
Well, I think I'd say on the horse side, Lavender Sealster, super impressive so far. The Trot and Filly I thought was also superb. I can't remember her name, but she came out of the McNair barn. That would be my second choice, or on the training side. McNair and Dr. Ian Moore this morning seem to be ready to go.
We touched on Greg McNair at the beginning of the day, saying he had a busy lineup, 10 starters from his barn, and 3 of them have come back winners. Good runner-up there in qualifier 11 as well. Some really impressive performances. Fillies that turned heads a week ago, coming back today, did as much or more than we would have expected from them. So another one that fits that bill, I think, here in the finale is Dea, the daughter of Bulldog Hanover, who I thought was an eye-catching winner a week ago.
Yeah, she was super, and we love to see this connection. Jack with Bulldog Hanover, right?
And homebred for Jack, Beach of a Time, the Some Beach Somewhere mare is the mother of Adea. She was a 57-3 winner a week ago, and it did it pretty easily, well in hand at the end, 28-second final quarter to win. A couple other fillies, though, that showed good final quarter speed last time, although they were a long way back in their qualifiers, were LD Sabina, the Stay Hungry filly, post 5 here. One of the Tony Beaton trainees in the field, so I could see her stepping up. She was home in 27-3 last week, but charted in 202-2. And CJ Desby, number 3 for the Jacques Dupont barn, finished 4th, beaten 11 lengths, but home individually in 27-4. And again, a lot of the connections come into a day like that, not looking to try and necessarily win or at a result. They're looking at the individual and where they want to go and what they want to see. So that's one I could see stepping up a little bit today.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, those final quarters, we really like to see these young horses just staying strong through the wire, showing us that they've got what it takes and that their mind's in the right place, that they're gonna finish their job.
Some first-timers behind the gate today. A couple of cattle wash fillies. Number 1, Stampa, homebred for Wendy Warren Timpano, Frank Tucci, and the Sea Spray stables of British Columbia. First foal out of the American Ideal mare Stiletto Blue Chip. And Barbuda, number 6, cattle wash filly. London Classic Sale graduate, $18,000 purchase. First foal from Dreamin' Girl. And that one a sister to a $575,000 winner, Major Bombay. And this one will have a full sister, T.H. Brianna, selling this fall at the London Classic yearling sale. So we'll keep an eye on Barbuda, one of a couple of the first-timers in the field. We'll see if Dea can come back with a second consecutive victory here in the finale. Good-looking field of 7. Back up to Mark.
Capping things off on this Friday now afternoon as we strike noon. 12th and final qualifier today. Field of 7, driver change on the 2, drill bit Penny to Bob McClure. 1, Stampa, cattle wash filly. Mike Timpano trains Tyler Borth in the bike. 2, drill bit Penny is a stag party filly. Gerard Demers trains. Bob McClure now drives. $6,000 London Classic purchase. 3, CJ Desby, Better's Delight filly. Jacques Dupont, the trainer. J.R. Plant in the bike. 4 is Dea, Bulldog Hanover filly, trained by Jack Darling, James McDonald. 5, LD Sabina, Stay Hungry filly. Tony Beaton trains, Doug McNair drives. The Stay Hungry filly comes out of the Lexington sale for $25,000 US. 6 is Barbuda, cattle wash filly trained by Meg Crone, Louis Waugh to drive, $18,000 London Classic purchase. And number 7 is the Waltzing Weasel, Todd Ratchford for Rod Hughes, and all bets off filly. Final qualifier today. We wrap things up. 12 today. We'll have 14 tomorrow for 2-year-old colts and geldings, pacers and trotters. 9:30 start time. A reminder, tomorrow's our owner's breakfast, complimentary breakfast for all owners invited to join us out on the patio. Set to go, 12th qualifier. Here we go. They're off and pacing, and CJ Desby times it nicely and goes out to the early lead. Peek over the right shoulder there for Plant as he sees LD Sabina driving ahead. Meanwhile, Dea just moves over into third, gets in front of the rail starter Stampa. The others just trying to line up. Drill Bit Penny back to Barbuda, and the last one is the Waltzing Weasel. So driving forward and getting the lead as they make their way into the first turn. McNair puts LD Sabina on the front. Second is CJ Desby, then in third. That is Dea. Opening quarter time, 30-2. Pacing fillies are single file to the backstretch. They follow LD Sabina. She's put on the front this time out. CJ Desby rides in second for the time being and is actually going to retake the lead. So a remove to the front here for CJ Desby as Plant wants the top with this Better's Delight filly. That put LD Sabina in second, and Dea just waits in third after she did it all in the front in her qualifying debut. Then we go to Stampa in fourth. Fifth is Drill Bit Penny, and the final two, Barbuda and the Waltzing Weasel. A minute and a fifth, second quarter in 29-4. And it's CJ Desby leading it. LD Sabina in second. Dea pacing along patiently there in third. 2 lengths then to Stampa in fourth. Drill Bit Penny remains fifth. Back to Barbuda and the Waltzing Weasel. They're midway around the far turn. A 2-length leader here, CJ Desby, looking good on the lead. LD Sabina in second, and Dea still there third. 4 lengths off the front. 3/4 time, 129-4. So they spin for home. And CJ Desby has the lead. Retook the top in the second quarter. Has a 2-length advantage on LD Sabina. Dea stays in behind. Here on the outside comes Drill Bit Penny. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. It's still CJ Desby, LD Sabina, Drill Bit Penny, and Dea. Coming up the inside late is LD Sabina. Not going to get there, though, on CJ Desby, who wins it. LD Sabina was second. Pacing through the wire third there was Dea, as that put Drill Bit Penny in fourth, 157-4.
CJ Desby, the daughter of Better's Delight, one that we mentioned last week, showed good final quarter time, individually clocked in 2 minutes. And today, forwardly spotted in this field, mixing it up a little bit more, got that experience from a week ago, and a nice step forward, I would say here. 57-4 is the win time with 57-3 back half speed, and used a couple of different times as well.
Yeah, it looks like, JR drove her last week, as we said, come home, finished really strong. The time of the mile was a little bit less than some of the others, so I'm not sure we really knew what to expect out here today, but obviously I would say JR thought she felt really good last week and drove her a little bit more racy this week, and man, she answered the call, didn't she?
Well, she did. LD Sabina, solid runner-up, lapped on the winner here, and a big step up for her in the time department too. And Dea, finishing third, looked like she was going to flip off cover, and then lost a bit of ground in the stretch, maybe just a bit of inexperience there, staying in behind horses. But I thought right at the wire, she was pacing hard again and gaining on the top two. So hard to get a real read on that effort.
Yeah, that one was tough. I mean, I'll say it, I was maybe expecting her to fly by everybody in the stretch a little bit there. But again, you can't be too upset with it. I thought, like you said, she was coming on at the wire. And, through the middle half of that race, I was watching her on the backside, and I really was looking at her thinking, man, I think she looks like her father out there the way she was going. Yeah. I thought she looked good, and that's why, I thought she was going to tip off cover and kind of go by everybody, but it wasn't there today.
Yeah, and last week, I thought she looked a little bit headstrong. So I wonder if today they just wanted to, really make a point of get her in behind horses and really make her stay on a helmet.
Yeah, I thought she looked headstrong, like you said, going into this first turn here. Her head was a little higher in the air, but they got on the backside and she settled. I thought she looked really good.
So a nice way to wrap things up today, and so many impressive efforts here this morning. And it's CJ Desby, the Bettor's Delight filly, capping things off in 1:57 and 4. Real enjoyable morning once again. Nice way to kick off our final weekend of the baby race coverage here. There will be more baby races, of course, beyond this weekend, but here at Primetime Racing, wanted to bring you full coverage of the first 3 weekends, both days. And that means we will be back again tomorrow. So looking forward to doing it all over again. 14 races tomorrow for the boys. The Colts and Geldings will be taking center stage. And as well, don't forget the owner's breakfast here, a pancake breakfast tomorrow morning. That's going to start at 9:30 a.m. at the new railside deck. No RSVP needed, so come on out. I believe the forecast is supposed to be nice. It's supposed to just warm up, I think, as the weekend goes on. So it should be a great morning for that. Come out, enjoy a great breakfast, and watch some of the future stars of the sport who will be in action, part of the 14-race marathon here tomorrow.
Enjoy the heat on the track and off the track.
That's right. And, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. You got to look at the Colts last week. You were here to join me pinch hitting at the last second. We put you into action again late this weekend. And your first look today at the fillies, what did you think overall?
Again, super. You can't really say enough about everything that everybody put on the track here today. And like you said, it's going to be exciting getting these horses into races where, where maybe they're all of their competition levels are together and see them duke it out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm not sure if you're back tomorrow or not.
I don't believe so. I'm in Hanover tomorrow.
You're in Hanover tomorrow. So, well, listen, good luck in Hanover. It's a great place to be on a Saturday afternoon as well. We're going to pull Curtis McDonald away from the pool. He's going to be back in town tomorrow, and we are happy to be able to bring the Rookie Showcase to you once again tomorrow, presented by Primetime Racing. Tune in for the coverage. It'll begin at 9:15 a.m. Hope you enjoyed today's coverage, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning on the Rookie Showcase.